ladies and gentlemen, how you doing out there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 151. What's wrong with your voice, MD? I'll fucking tell you right now. Basically, I didn't have a voice until about 2 o'clock. It is roughly 7:30 right now.
Was that the USC's fault or
That's
your fault?
Mega GSP's fault, actually.
Okay.
Wrong acronym, but definitely same mistake. I was screaming very loud. I had an MMA gasm this weekend. Superior fucking amazing time watching 3 titles change hands. And I believe I had not one but 2 tables turn their heads to where I was sitting and say, what the fuck? They were having their big night out.
He's got to go.
They were having their big night out, and they turned their head and they saw me, and I was just like, die for your sins. Die for your... Like, repeatedly, until someone died for their sins. And then the title changed hands, and I was very excited. So... I was fine until later that night, and I got home and I was like, my throat's a bit froggy. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the jack. And everyone's like, no, it's nothing to do with the jack. You're just an idion. And,
Dude, I've been there, man.
I know you have.
I was the first show I ever played in Germany and at Berlin at SO36. The night before was the night that Germany played Brazil in the World Cup series. So it was kind of like, what's going to happen? And so I'm at Wild at Heart in Berlin for the first time. And I was going fucking crazy.
Yup.
And I was screaming my heads off. And I met these guys from England and a whole bunch of other people. And we were losing it. So the next day, I woke up in my clothes on my bed. Mud
Shoes
everywhere.
on.
Mud everywhere.
Mud.
Yeah, because I was...
Why mud? Like,
Because I was hauled off to a squat by a very good friend of ours now called Carl, who works with the band a lot. And
now call Carl.
Allegedly.
yeah, so Carl took me out, and I lost my voice, and we had a full day sound check
Oh, shit.
at SO36 because we had 2 sound guys on that tour who were switching off halfway through, and we hadn't rehearsed for this tour. So we were doing a sound check / rehearsal for this upcoming tour.
Yeah.
And I had no fucking voice. And
Been there.
yeah. So I was there with you, man. I've been there.
I should probably mention that the voice you're hearing, if you're only listening to audio version of this podcast, God love you for even listening at all. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Bass player for Brew 36, the Isotopes, and the Real McKenzies. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Vlad Zach, a.k.a. Troy Zach. How you doing, sir?
Really good. Sorry, I cut off your intro. I didn't realize.
No, that's
we're
good.
rolling.
No, actually,
Fuck.
you did what we call in the biz a nice cold open. Everyone's like, "Oh, look at this cool story."
But in the biz, they don't call it the biz.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
That's a
point.
It's a
That's a
main
really
fact.
good point, actually.
I just want to say when I said biz, I meant like a very like loose spelling, like B-U-I. Then the German, what is it, the 2
An umlaut.
umlaut. Oh, I-S-S.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone's like Bilzes. Yes,
That's right.
yeah, that's right. Speaking of Germany, you've been there quite a bit, as we just talked about.
Yeah, man.
My friend, I appreciate you coming to do the show tonight. I know it was mega short notice, and somehow you still made time for me. I don't know how you did that. How do you do that?
Because I just got off the road and I have nothing to do, man.
What happened? I heard you were supposed to go on tour.
I was.
What happened there? You were supposed to go to Europe.
Yeah, Brew 36 is supposed to tour from like November 16th through till the 25th or 6th. I was going to head out on the 12th, but tour's canceled.
Okay,
Bummer,
can we talk about this for a sec?
Yeah.
Our audio level's okay, brother. I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all good.
I want to make sure because we've had some very significant audio issues lately. It has
Everything's
nothing to do with anyone in this room, but just like the gear has been fucking around.
I feel like you're trying to paint me as a target here.
By the way, if anyone's listening to this, C-Mart 778-688-4.
Yeah, not the number.
Yeah.
I got a 604 number.
Call them 604-444. We just had some issues. I just want to make sure it's proper. But listen.
All good.
Back to our guest who actually gives a fuck and it matters, okay? Ladies and gentlemen. Troy,
Yo.
let me ask you this. What happened here? You're supposed to go to Europe. You're supposed to be performing with Brew 36.
Yeah.
What happened? How many people are in your band?
3. We're a 3-piece.
3-piece. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's the most efficient way to tour when one guy doesn't live on the same continent as the other 2. So, you can't be a 6 or 7 piece like the Real McKenzies. But We're a three-piece. Yeah. So efficiently, we have the band and the van and all the merch and everything over in Germany in Kreuzberg. And all I have to do is fly over.
Sure.
Which works because I'm always there with the Real McKenzies or the Isotopes anyway.
You're doing
So,
very
so
like,
it makes sense to have a
consistent.
band there because
Yeah.
I just fly over early, leave late. And then I can do stuff in the middle
I like your thinking.
as well. So it's
very good.
basically maximizing time because, who wants a fucking day off, right?
Obviously, day offs on tour, as people that don't tour think that day offs are like the best things.
Most people.
Yeah, but like,
Sorry, just
It's usually
FYI.
a drive day, man. If we have a
Seriously.
day off, it's usually 20 hours in the van or
that's right.
15 hours in the van or the airport. And,
Days
yeah.
off are lost money, son. People don't understand. But
Yeah.
please continue. Go ahead.
No, it just makes sense for everything to happen over there. So I'm the only real expense, and I just cover my own flights and stuff like that.
So you're supposed to do this tour.
Yeah.
And then when did you find out you're not touring anymore?
Like a few days ago,
Hold on, but just to be clear, you've been to Europe 4 times this year.
4 times this year.
4 times this year, like 4 separate tours with the Real McKenzie.
3 with the McKenzies, 1 with the Isotopes, and then in the middle was Brew 36. I was doing it, but I didn't leave and come back for that.
See. Because of the logistics you just laid out. I see.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ev Ock, friend of the show. We want to just let you know that we appreciate
The
you.
evocative one.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Evocative.
I'll never call you Evan October. I'll never call you Evan October.
Ev
I
Ock.
swear to God, man.
That's so good. By the way, shout out to Rich Lowe.
I feel like there's like a Halloween joke. What if it's just like
Ock.
evening Halloween, Eve Hallow? I don't know.
I would never call
Evan
him.
looked me dead in the eyes last time I saw him in person, and he was like,
Don't ever call me that again.
"Yeah, he's like, I don't appreciate that name."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Don't worry, I'll never say it on the show again."
Say it on the
So-
internet forever.
Lied to.
So I'm like, "Don't worry, it's just the internet forever. What is
Yeah.
the big deal? You know,
It's a
just hang
black
out."
hole. No one will find it.
I'm like, no one watches the show anyway. Anyway, it's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So what the fuck, though? You have a 3-piece, and now you're not going.
Not going.
What are those guys doing?
I don't know. I actually haven't talked to him too much in the last few days. I was just kind of told the situation, and then I was just like, well, fuck it. I'll make a positive out of a negative and try and find something else to do while I'm here. So that's what I'm gonna do.
You're very diverse. You have your hands on a lot of different things. A lot of things people probably wouldn't even expect. You curate playlists.
I just started doing some stuff for Spotify.
Off
Yeah.
air, you and I were chatting a little bit about this. Now, you and I do this. This is very strange because we were talking off air that I personally have never met anyone else that does this. In fact, when I was trying to explain this to someone recently, I realized that I was like, "Oh, I'm talking about something that is like if you were in 1900 talking about like I'm gonna dig for coal." People are like, "What are you talking about?" Like
They were digging for coal in 1900.
I don't know.
I was pretty common.
That's not a good example.
See these
Wait, we
hands?
can edit this.
That's not a good
Fucking-
example.
Do you see these hands? These are real blue collar hands, obviously. But like, what I'm trying to say is like,
I get it. I'm sorry.
I feel like logistically, I was trying to explain something to someone that was like, "Wait a minute, that's a work. That's a
It's
job.
not work.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean,
it is, but you can do it in your underwear when you're really high.
Okay. Wait. What's whisper?
Allegedly.
Wait,
Allegedly.
Hold on now. Hold on now, Troy. Let's get really close to the mic, you and I, and let's whisper
too
the next
close.
part because we're protecting the business. Okay. Wait.
Okay.
It's actually a lot of hard work. And,
Yeah, totally, man.
And
It
only,
takes extreme talent.
Wait, and only the right personality can do it.
Only the right personality can do it high.
Allegedly.
You know what I mean? I tell you what, you put on your fucking headphones and you start listening to music and you know everything about music.
That's
dare
so-
you, sir? How
no.
dare you?
I can make a playlist for anyone, anytime, because I'm so high right now.
So high. That's right. Basically, it comes down to drugs, ladies and gentlemen, and I charge for them.
Why not? Yeah.
No, but I do think that, like, think about that, though. Like, if you are involved in music as a performer and as a influencer in that way.
I thought you were going to say professional,
That's
man.
it.
I was just going to freak out.
I'm not gonna like jump too many dates here, but at the
I'm
same
fucking
time,
with
like, is your opinion not more valuable than a random person? Like, even a person that thinks that they know shit.
Yeah.
It's like if you were a creator.
Are you opinion shaming right now?
I don't know.
No, I'm
I
just
feel
saying that
I
is-
feel like you're opinion shaming right now.
Yeah.
No,
Let's
I think
cut
it
to-
is valuable.
Troy,
Troy, I'm making
Troy
the
knows.
argument that it
He's-
is valuable.
Troy's
really-
very progressive.
Like, would you not want your playlist curated by, like, the bassist of the Real McKenzies? Like, sure, that sounds better
There's
than a
hundreds
guy.
of thousands of people who would say no to that. I'll tell you what, man. There are probably a lot of people
Okay.
in the world who would do it better than me.
Sure.
But you know what? They didn't get the fucking calls, so they
Yeah,
can
fair
fuck
enough.
off.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I tell you what, though, like
You
know,
didn't whisper that part though. That's where we protect the business.
We'll edit that.
you know
We'll edit
what
in
though?
post.
But we were all
We will
this
not
guy
edit
at
that
some
in
point in our lives. If you can think back to that point in your life when all you did was actively seek out and search for music, which I guess is still now for me, but
Yeah.
not to the degree it was when I was between the ages of 14 and 21,
Truly,
which were total.
it was kind of like a job then back then.
Well, yeah, it was a job. It was what you did all the time. I mean, because we didn't have the information highway back then. You know, there was.
That's right.
You had to go to record stores, and I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours in record stores flipping through, looking for albums,
Yeah.
finding fucking cool covers, shit that I hadn't heard before, finding fanzines, any kind of mailing lists and stuff like that. And a lot of I lived in central Canada where people don't play.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up I was born in a tiny little potash town called Esterhazy. I'm the son of a
By the
coal
way,
miner's daughter.
Excellent,
Oh,
excellent
coal
use.
mining
Hang on.
Coal miner's daughter. How
Hang
old
on
are
a
we
second.
talking here? What
Wait. I got this, man. I was born the son of a sharecropper. Wait. Okay, whatever, dude. I grew up in central Saskatchewan, southern Saskatchewan.
A prairie boy.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. And then I moved up north to like a logging town.
By the way.
Yeah. Went from potash to logging, and then at some point,
real
I got
industry.
kicked out of school,
For what?
like every good rock and roll does.
Yeah,
I
well.
smacked Fred Wiscoic in the side of the head.
He deserved it though.
I'm
I bet.
sorry.
Right?
Fred was
Did he
stoic?
deserve it?
Yeah, he's since passed on, and he was an awesome accounting
sorry. I'm
teacher.
sorry.
He was a great comp lit teacher, and he was a super fucking nice guy.
What? Can
But
you
he
explain
caught
this
me
conflict?
drinking. He caught me drinking at high school dance.
What were you drinking?
I was drinking Southern Comfort from a Mickey in the men's washroom.
I knew it was a Mickey. I knew it was a Mickey.
During the day, me and my friend Rich Bellamy, Richie plays for a band called Savage Henry from Saskatoon. They're fucking perverse. They're amazing. Yeah, seriously, they make
Perverse.
They make the dwarves look like
Oh shit.
like they look like fucking air supply.
What a comparison, by the way, because they make the dwarves look like air
That's gonna need
supply.
some
Yeah.
show notes.
That should be a fucking shirt. That should
Yeah,
be,
well,
they
hey.
we make the dwarves look like air supply. God
Yeah.
damn.
Well, they're a great band, but Richie and I went to high school together. But we used to drink Southern Comfort on our lunch breaks. And
Little
so-
SoCo? SoCo on the lunch breaks?
Yeah, a little SoCo. What's with you, SoCo?
Ev
Your
Ox
abbreviations
SoCo.
for everything.
That's
If you
my
start
fault.
calling
That's
me-
my fault.
If you start calling me Troy Za,
Troy
I'm
Za-
leaving.
Oh shit! I didn't even think of that one.
First
Here
of all,
we
it'd be
go.
Troza.
Troza.
So also.
I'm here with the illuminated Troyza. Here we are.
Nah, but
So-
we used to drink Southern Comfort on our lunch breaks, and so that night there was a dance, and so we snuck our Southern Comfort into the the fucking toilet tanks of the bathroom.
So this is like The Godfather. You have like a piece back there.
We have a fucking piece back there, so we go back there and we're sneaking our drinks, and we get called out, and I got in shit, and I happened to smack a teacher, and now I got expelled. And
not
I
a
feel,
good
like, I
move.
feel like you just yada yada the best part there. Hold on.
Bury
so
the lead over here.
What happened? So you're back there. You're pulling the tank top off. Like you're pulling it off.
Not really. They opened the bathroom door and said, "Is everything okay in there?" You know what I mean? You're just a kid. This is a long time
How
ago.
old are you?
So
How old are you?
me?
Yeah.
40. I'll be
No,
44
no,
in a month.
no. During the story. Sorry.
Oh, during the story. 14. 15. 15.
That's when you're smacking.
15.
I want everyone to right now just take a moment, listening or watching right now. Take a moment and just remember when you were 14, 15, and then just think about
I was playing, like,
striking
Diablo.
striking a teacher. Yeah. By the way, C-Mart, I was into Diablo. Just like doesn't give a shit.
Hey, man.
All right. Please continue, please. So he
Like I
finds
said,
it-
I do
what did he
feel
say?
bad about it.
What did he say? Was he like, "Fuck it"? Listen, Troy, get the
No,
fuck
you know
out
what?
of there.
You know what he called me? He called me Mr. Troy. He always referred to me as
Like a
Mr.
Star
Troy.
Trek
So he used to
character.
Did
give
not
me.
know your last name? He just called you Mr.
Yeah.
Troy?
No, he did, but it was sort of a stern way of him talking to me, and he used to talk to me like that in class too. But he called me Mr. Troy. The exact details
it.
of what happened after that, I don't know. I can't quite remember. But I know that when I did get back into school, I was wearing an offensive T-shirt
What did it say?
And there was this fucking
Jesus was a cunt or
Immediately
something.
rebanned.
no, there was this.
Like,
There, okay,
no.
so a little bit of backstory. There was a chain called San Francisco's.
Yeah,
at
hey,
the time.
they
And
had
used to
one in
sell-
my hometown.
Yeah, they used to sell weird T-shirts and novelty items and stuff like that.
They were the only head shop.
Sort of a head
I
shop.
bought a Cartman bong from them when I was young.
Yeah, you could buy like
Allegedly.
whoopee
Allegedly,
cushions
yeah.
and I don't know, like fucking
Novelty
stuff,
shit.
novelty
You
shit.
buy
Yeah, yeah.
alien candles.
Alien candles. But they had
Shit like
this
that.
T-shirt that was like it was about 9 squares and it was like farts or poops, and
Okay.
it was like a cartoon block and it would be like the ghost poopy, the Lincoln log poopy.
Oh yeah, that was a
So
popular
I
seller.
was wearing that shirt under a shirt, you know what I mean, under a long sleeve shirt.
Okay.
And, but
Not-
you could
not
still see the
visible.
word fart and see some asses and maybe some shit coming out of an ass.
Okay.
And when I got back into school, like after my 3-day suspension or 5-day suspension, fucking
By the way,
teacher-
for assaulting a teacher, that's all it took
That is
back
a
then.
serious actual.
Dude, only 3
But
to
you know
5
what, dude? I'll
days.
tell you, in the fucking 80s and 90s, there was more teachers assaulting fucking students than the students
That's true.
assaulting teachers. So
true.
fucking
Fair
maybe
enough.
it all worked
Fair
out.
enough.
That's true.
But yeah, Mr. Bolton, the principal, Boss Ross,
Lord
he
Bolton.
told me
Lord
he
Bolton.
told me to take off the shirt, and I did up a button, but it wasn't good enough for him. So then there became a thing, and I ended up getting expelled for good in the school board. They wanted an apology.
Oh, like fully. For
yeah,
good, for
kicked
good.
out. Like I
So-
had to move to a different town. I moved to a different
Holy
town to
shit.
finish school.
So it was like this. It was like, Troy, your first day back.
Weird.
And you can't even give us the respect of a
Yeah.
clean outfit.
Okay,
I know.
quick question.
You know, I blame music, man. I was listening to Cinderella's Long Cold Winter and Brittany Fox.
how did it?
I was like, fuck, man. I want to be a rebel too.
God.
Okay, so quick
That's so
question. Like,
good.
so
This is like
did you-
1989.
Yeah.
1990,
Did you
right?
move, or did your fam like? Did you like? How did it feel to? I think I've been suspended once or whatever. Like
Really? What were you suspended for?
I don't know. I think I wrote
Sounds
like a
made
bad article, like or not an article, but like I wrote a thing with like swear words in it. Like that's kind of shit.
Like fuck or cunt?
yeah, like classic, like whatever.
Classic
And then-
swears.
No, but like
the classic.
anyway, there was
I'm
a
a
thing,
fan of the
But at the same
classics.
time, yeah, exactly.
You just
I like
ended it.
I like history.
You ended it.
When-
The end. P.S. Fuck you. And everyone's like, whoa.
So
Everything's
everyone go fuck themselves. No,
Yeah,
what I'm saying
whoa.
is that like, did you move or did your family move in
No,
response
my
to your?
my family moved. No, man.
Or did you
my
just? I know.
family moved.
Did you
No,
upend your
when
family?
I-
I'm just wondering, like, because that sounds
I can
fucking
just see my mom and
disruptive.
dad.
Oh my God.
My mom and dad be like, well,
Shout out to
I
Sidenote.
know.
Troy
I'm just saying
fucked
that
up again
sounds
today in school. We're gonna
disruptive.
have to move to a
Mom
different
and
town. Uplift the roots. You know, we just spent 10
Well,
years
that's what I'm
building this
asking.
house.
I'm just asking.
Let's look at this fucking asshole through high school.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
No, man. You know what my
The way
dad
you
said?
described it, I was uncertain.
My
I
dad.
apologize.
No, it's fine.
Shout out to C-Mart for just foregoing everyone else in the household's
No.
thoughts. Just like, did they move because of you? No, it was the 80s. You just dealt with it. It was just like,
My
whatever.
dad said, "Well, you really fucked up now, boy."
Yes.
He didn't even call me by my name. He called me boy. He's like, "You really fucked up now, boy."
At least he didn't call you Mr. Troy.
No, Fred didn't. He
But
got a
was
fucking
that-
smack in the head for it.
For
but
that.
I would never hit my dad because he's way tougher than me.
I don't
still to
think
this
anyone
day,
would
and he's
hit their dad.
75. So
Dads
wouldn't fuck with-
dads that are tougher than you are a terrifying thing. My father, G-Tone's father, we share a father.
Because you're brothers?
Yes.
What?
Classic brother
Shit.
move.
Spoiler. G-Tone and I share a father. Terrifying in his heyday.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Good
he-
dad is.
Now he's a very soft, gentle giant, but Jesus Christ, I used to fucking shake thinking about having to tell him stuff. I'd be like,
Yeah, man.
no, I don't want to do it.
That's my dad too, but it's funny now too because I just went back to my dad's house, my mom and dad's house for the first time since 1996. This past
The first time?
since 1996,
Jesus,
yeah.
that's like 21 years.
Yeah, so I went back and I saw the house
Weird.
and we hung out with him. And we've always seen each other over the years. We're a close family.
Yeah.
I just had no need to go back there. You know, we always met somewhere in Alberta where my family lives. My sister lives there. I have another sister here in Vancouver. So we always kind of meet in the middle. I've never had to go back there. And
Yeah.
it's sort of difficult to get to because they live
Sure, yeah.
in the bush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally understand.
Off the grid, so to speak. And so I went back and hung out with them. And it was a lot of fun.
Really?
Oh, it was,
More,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
fun than you expected?
oh yeah, we went fishing, and my wife caught her first fish ever. I made her hold it,
Jesus,
and
that's
took dumb
great.
pictures. My dad wanted to drink beer all night and beer all afternoon. It was a lot. It was a good time.
That sounds wonderful.
But you know, my dad and I have had that relationship for many years now, where we're adults. But you know, as a kid, like I was saying, a good dad does make their kids
holds you to
afraid.
account.
Yeah,
Oh.
you'd better be afraid of your parents. When
Yeah, I'm
you're a
okay
kid,
with
like
that.
to a certain degree, afraid to the point where you're not going to piss them off. Unfortunately, I
completely
was
agree.
afraid of my parents, but I was too stupid.
You're also a punk rocker, so fuck them.
I was too stupid to adhere to their rules. You know,
Mom and Dad, I'm gonna tour the world. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
they would
"All right."
ground me. I would adhere to it. You know, whatever. But it was like, you know, a kid.
That's so funny.
Every kid rebels, you know. And,
Sure, yeah.
But you know, mine was particularly funny the way I had to rebel. You know, I would get punished and I'd have to like split wood all day and do shit like that. But
I got actually accused
it was funny.
when I was
That's-
younger.
I mean, you're gaining skills with an axe, though. That sounds.
I could
That sounds
chop
positive.
the shit out of this table right now.
Yeah, I like. I mean,
You know, you
first
have a
of all,
cord
that's
of wood right
useful.
now. I will make fucking kindling.
Yeah.
I'll make you a fucking table.
I actually, I'll tell you what. I actually miss all the woodwork that I was doing when I was younger. G-Tone and I,
What woodwork have you done?
our grandparents,
If you're talking about masturbation, if this is like a
No,
reference
no,
to,
I don't believe it is.
just jerking it, just fucking
that's
laying
some
into
pretty
it.
good woodwork there, man.
No.
Woodwork is in top form, bro.
Our
As you're watching, you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, looks good.
No,
that
no.
looks good."
no. Listen,
That's masturbation stories.
our father's
God.
our father's father. Okay, our grandparents are.
Are we being too loud? Someone just came over.
No, no.
I doubt it.
We
Fucking
are being
doubt it.
loud,
We-
but it's fine.
We are being loud, but in the most joyful way that people want to come in here.
Yeah, we're not
Don't worry
yelling
about it.
at each
Plus,
other.
we have a principal sponsorship. What?
We'll
What
get
are they
to
gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're literally sponsoring this, so it's like this is what they want. So
Sorry,
it's fine.
I totally killed your buzz and interrupted your story, man.
No, who gives a shit? Honestly,
Carry on.
here's the thing. My father's father only lived about 10 minutes from me growing up the whole time. So I had my grandparents just down the road from me, and they had a giant area of land, but they always had a wood stove, and so they had like a bit of a cubby hole on the outside of their house, and so we would always go down the farm about a football length away, and then cut wood, split it, put it in the back of a pickup truck that's only purpose is for hauling that wood to that cubby hole in the front of the house, and then load wood into the basement and then stack it accordingly for the winter. And that would be a yearly chore we would do. It'd be like doing hay, something like
Yeah,
that.
I understand.
So we would do that pretty consistently from a young age. Like I remember probably the first time I did that was probably about 8 or 9. And we would do it so consistently that I
Did you
actually
have to split the wood at that age?
Yes. And I was very, very comfortable doing it. And for a while, it would be like myself, it would be my brothers, my cousins. We would always just kind of share off. But because we were always lived closest, we would always, one of us brothers would always be involved, essentially. And we would split like I didn't really get how much wood this was for a while.
It's probably for the whole family, right?
Well, no,
Or
it was
just
really-
for that one
It was
house?
just for
It
that.
was,
But
it was for the whole community.
Yeah.
I didn't really know. Check it out. I don't want to exaggerate, but like I didn't know.
You should. It's funner.
It's
It
way
is.
better
Or
It
more
is
fun,
better.
pardon me.
makes for a way better
Sorry,
story.
Mr. Wiskowiak. More fun.
Troy, yeah. Troy makes for a way better story, right? I know about it. Okay, seriously though, I didn't know how much wood this was, but like doing a chord or 2 chords is a lot of fucking wood.
bunch of
That's
wood.
a lot of wood. So we would do that and just fill up the basement for the wood, right, through this cubbyhole thing. And they'd stuff it with insulation and had its own little like turnkey thing you pull through. Anyway, we would do this so often that I became accustomed to it. I was so like I loved it. I loved the camaraderie of it. I love the fact that we would work wood and like split it. And the thing is, we had a hydraulic splitter, right? The hydraulic splitter would basically, if we were doing this right now at this table, we don't have a view of this right now, but right across from me right now is Troy. For our video watchers and for our audio listeners, Troy's right across from me, directly across from me on the table. So we would each stand on each side of this hydraulic splitter, and this giant log, like bigger than you could put your arms around, would go through this hydraulic splitter. A thing would push it through into this like pizza-looking thing, and it would cut the edge. And as it cut it, we would each catch a side, which was still giant, and then we put it into the truck, and that was our job.
Fucking technology, man.
Dude, one year I didn't participate.
That sounds like you could easily injure a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because one year, check this out. 1 year, I didn't participate. Now I don't know if it was just like I was out drinking the night before, finger fucking
Allegedly.
chicks. I have no idea.
What?
I have
Jesus,
yeah.
that escalated, by the way.
Yeah, it
You
happened.
went from a family story.
It
You
happened.
went from a family story to total dirt.
First of all, that's
I was
never
waiting
happened.
for my end, but
You
you beat me to
said
it.
to exaggerate. You told me to tell a larger tale.
All right.
You told me.
So you're
It's
finger
getting
fucking a
taller,
sheep.
All right, so
apparently.
finger
Yeah.
So
He's in Eastern
sheep.
Ontario. It's
right.
cold.
That's right.
He's wishing.
Okay. So anyway, you missed that year.
I want to make sure my fingers in the camera. Are
You missed that year.
Wait,
I'm finger
wait,
fucking
wait.
a sheep.
So I'm finger fucking.
I gotta go,
lamb.
guys. See you.
Okay, so you're finger fucking
All
a
right,
sheep.
all right. Whatever I was doing the night before, I didn't participate in the wood for the next day, and
That sounds even worse.
Right?
Okay, but anyway.
right, nah,
Way worse.
I know. I didn't participate though, but I was in the computer room and I'm like doing a bunch of stuff. It's like brand new age of internet and shit like that. Suddenly, my dad runs in and was just like, "Your brother has had an accident at the wood splitter,
No shit.
and we
G-tone?
need to move." Nope, my
That's not good. Accident at wood splitter is very negative.
my younger brother.
Okay.
Pretty sure. And I was like, "What?" And it was like people were running out the door faster than I could ask questions. And then suddenly I heard through this is like before texts and everything, I guess. So I was like waiting to hear what happened and waiting by the phone. And my brother had been doing the work, and it's so monotonous. What I was just describing, where the wood pushes itself through.
You can easily be
It's
distracted.
so monotonous that you guide the like I'm going to show this
Yeah.
in the video, but if you're listening to audio, I'm sorry you can't watch this, but like basically you guide your hand, you're guiding the log through the process, right? But if you're doing it enough, you don't really think about it. And my brother Brendan,
Brendonius?
Brendonius,
Pretty badass.
Yeah, he's a fucking badass dude. I love Brendan's such a dude. He had the option of joining all of us in the music industry, and he was just like, he's the best guitar player out of all of us and everything. And he decided, no, I think I'm gonna jump out of helicopters and fight fires. And we're just like,
That's
all
pretty
right,
cool, too.
you're a badass. So, like, such a cool guy. He ends up fucking running his hand through the fucking hydraulic splitter, and then panics, pulls his hand out, and it rips his fucking finger off. So he's
Which
like,
one?
like this. Like this, his finger, but it's
The
I
booger
think it's his
finger.
right
That's the
finger.
index
yeah.
finger.
So it's the booger
his-
finger.
It's his pick finger.
Yeah.
So he has to actually pick with his middle finger and his thumb, and he's still the best fucking guitar player in our family. And,
That's so savage.
and we have everyone in the family tours, and so he's still the best. That's what's a very shameful thing for the rest of us. But he's so talented. But that work ethic that comes with doing that, the reason I'm telling this whole story is just because I want people to recognize that like there's a benefit to doing something consistently for the longest period of time, where you have a knowing impact on your community, because you're like, I'm helping build shit, I'm helping do wood, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right, sure. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I haven't done it for like 15 years, and I miss it. I miss it every fucking year.
I think industry in
I do.
general is valuable.
I'm fatter. I'm lazier. My joints hurt. My hips hurt a lot. I have trouble picking up a teacup. Hate doing dishes. My feet hurt every morning when I walk to take a piss. Sometimes I don't even make it to the bathroom.
Really? What do you do?
I just piss.
Just go for it.
I just piss. It's a
Dipe life.
My wife hates it, but every morning, 6:30 a.m. sharp, I take shit, whether I'm out of bed or not.
Really?
Yeah, it just depends
Jesus
on the day. So
Christ. You must have the cleanest sheets on the planet every day.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why would they be dirty or less dirty? Like,
Because he said whether he knows it or not every day.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, well, those are clean sheets every day.
Sorry, man. I just had to take this conversation.
No,
Your
it's
wood
good,
cutting
man.
story
It's all
really
good.
sucked.
Jesus Christ.
I'm calling. That was so long, dude. I mean, like, fuck, come on. I split like 40 cords of wood in my life.
For
Fair
total?
That's
right.
nothing.
No, I'm just
Nah, I'm
kidding.
kidding.
just
Oh yeah, I'm fucking around. I'm sorry.
Jesus, Trey, you really.
I feel like my stock has went down in the room all of a sudden.
my-
Trey, you really decided to. Yeah, we got a great shot
my
of it.
favorite,
We have-
my favorite grandfather makes you do the weird shit story is my grandfather.
Wait, I have to point out because everyone probably thinks Troy and I hate each other now. But
No.
We're doing a podcast about splitting wood. It's pretty good. Shine up your axes.
Jesus Christ.
Throw on your fucking plaid shirts and your suspenders.
Everyone's like,
case of Calgary beer.
Everyone tuned in to hear the fucking. They're like, let's hear the tour stories. I'm like, let me tell you about splitting wood.
Let me tell you about splitting wood.
Cutting a finger off is a hardcore thing.
But that's where we were going. We were
That's
talking about your
savage.
brother. Yeah, they were talking about your brother. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
But I guess the real thing I was trying to say is like consistency when doing a job is very important. And when that comes when you're doing tours and when you have things pulled out from you, when you're expecting them to do it, your sensibility is so trained already to be like, I'm going on tour, I'm going on the road, I'm doing this, and suddenly someone's like, you're not doing that. You're like, I'm wired to do this. What do you mean? And then you're like, fuck, I have to change my whole shit up. It's very different, you know? It
is.
That's basically what I was trying to get to.
Fuck, sorry,
Does that count as a logistics fucking move?
We can, however you want to label that. I don't care.
I just want to say.
I feel like you're just making weird loose ends and knots wherever you can to keep that. Reel it in. Let's reel it in.
Troy, I don't want to lie. A lot of this show is made up as we do it.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Like I don't want to shock you, but like a lot of it.
Are you serious? You're not reading from a board right now? I'm looking around.
Dude, could you imagine?
There's no teleprompter in here.
Wouldn't that be shitty if this was actually scripted? If I was like, and now I'm gonna tell the fucking woodcut.
I would
just be like, hey, dude, about that woodcutting story? It's pretty cool.
Should I cut it? Should I woodcut it?
Lose that.
Should I woodcut the story? All right, let's do this. I got an idea. I left that little gap right there, so I could definitely edit it right here. Oh, Troy,
yeah,
you're a fucking good guy.
Oh yeah.
I want to know about
you fuck.
That's it. You're like, this is the worst podcast ever. Who the fuck is this guy?
I'm just who's the fucking idiot getting wasted?
By the way, can we get here? I'm gonna do a quick tilt pan on this. We're just putting these down real quick.
What's that?
Just a couple of fucking beers.
Oh yeah.
So okay, let me ask you this: the nature of you joining the Real McKenzies, it was a chaotic period for that band.
Yeah, when I joined, yeah.
Right. So we're talking like 2012, 2012, right?
2012.
Okay. So that era of the band, there's a tremendous amount of turnover. There's a lot of people that are like coming in and out of the band.
Yeah,
and
always.
We were talking off air, and I was like, I've always compared the Real McKenzies and bands like that, like the Isotopes, which you're also part of.
Yeah.
I've always compared them to be like sports franchises, right? They're like, in that, like, there's a core, and then there's like people that they rotate in and out based on their availability, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, within a year, you were assuming a lot of responsibilities for the Real McKenzies. What was that like?
It was cool. Yeah. Well, when I was hired by Mark, he kind of right off the bat when we started, because I've known him for a long time. I knew, like, the guy who hired me in the band, I had known before he was in the McKenzies. He was working with DOA before he worked with the McKenzies. Right. So that was Bone.
What era? What DOA?
Like, I don't know.
Late
90s.
You could just say all.
Late 90s.
Yeah,
a bunch.
But so when I got the call and we met, like, because we had already known each other, and I was like, oh yeah, because we had done tours. I was playing in the darkest of the Hillside Thickets in the early 2000s, and we had toured with Real McKenzies. So I got to know the boys a little bit better, and I kind of always hounded them for a job. Mm-hmm. So when my number came up, and I got the call, and I was just really interested in learning whatever I could about the band and how it works at that level, because I'd never played in a band at that level before. I was, up until that point, other than the Vibrators, playing with the Vibrators.
Because you were playing them before you were
with the Real McKenzies, yeah. Right. Other than playing with the Vibrators, every band I played in, I slept on couches and floors and in vans and cars and wherever.
Just grinding it out, doing
your thing. So
putting in the work.
Yeah, just doing it. I mean, really, whatever. Yeah. So then when you started playing with the Real McKenzies, then Mark was just, kind of letting me he didn't just, I guess, sussing me out, and then eventually just said, hey, do you want to come along and TM with me on this first tour I did with them?
TM for those at home.
Yeah,
Tour manager.
Yeah, so I did that, and I went and hung out, and I was just like, oh, this is just fucking collecting money. All I got to do is collect money, right? And I was wrong at the time. You know what I mean? I was so naive. I was just like,
it's much more encompassing than
yeah,
that.
and I was like, oh, so what do? Yeah, you collect money, and everything else just happens. And so I did the first tour, and he said, how was that? And I said, it was pretty good, man. And he's like, cool, you're the TM. And I was like,
Wow.
okay.
So
the next tour.
just like that.
So then I talked to, he informs management, and I talked to management, and they just say, okay, so you're TMing, you're a middleman and stuff. And they started using terms like advancing tours and logistics and all this stuff. So
Escalating.
yeah, so I had to get my shit together really fast and figure out what the fuck they were talking about. And I had a really good idea because, I mean, my brother-in-law's been in the industry for years and all my friends, and I've been doing it for a long time too. So it was just a matter of like actually accepting the responsibility. So then, you know, the next year I did it, and then it was kind of stressful because the McKenzies are not an easy band to manage on the road.
Now I've heard.
It gets pretty fucking crazy,
heard,
yeah.
Not from G-Tone, okay? So this is what I
Allegedly.
knew. This is what I knew prior to G-Tone ever having any involvement. I heard that you guys were a handful. That was before anything.
The band can be a handful, yeah.
Now that seems
We
like
call it a bandful? No. Yes,
yeah,
no?
we can do that. I will take that. We're a bandful. If everyone,
C-Mart, nice.
if everyone in my band, if everyone in the
Jesus
Real
Christ.
McKenzies on any given night decides that we want to go off, and it does happen too, like where everyone decides they want to party. Like there was one time we were opening up for Patti Smith in Norway, and we were out there playing, and everyone was
In a state.
because we were playing in Norway in this little town in the city
That sounds
square
insane.
in front of a courtyard, and there's this church, and there's like 5,000 people in front of you, and it's Patti Smith and the Real McKenzies, which is just the most oddball bill.
Jesus Christ.
But
Who booked that?
I don't know. It was a good gig.
Yeah, I know. I don't doubt it.
You're
Like,
you're
genius
kind of,
book.
you're kind of watching the sun set or the sun hover at that point of the year.
Yeah.
And so we played this show.
Jesus
And we had really, obviously, because it was a city funded event, obviously. Pardon me. A city funded event, so there was like really good catering and stuff like that, and lots of liquor for us.
Red M&Ms only.
Red M&Ms and lots of brown liquor, and we were really fucking digging into all of it. And so we had this amazing sugar high. We had a couple sips of brown liquor, but the sugar high was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we played our show, and Mackenzie Paul, or like our singer, was fucking
A Ridge OG.
yeah, the only original member of the Mackenzies at the time. Well, actually, Mark was in the band still. Bone was still in the band. He had been in the band for 16 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even though he wasn't there at day one, he pretty much is an original. He made it to me anyway. But anyway,
Made it to 2012, yo. At least, right?
So, but yeah, so Paul was like, I can't remember. She was singing, you know, because the night belongs to lovers. And Mackenzie was in the front of the stage. He went past the barricade, and the security had to fucking haul him out. And
shit.
Patti Smith was just like, yeah, we've heard about the Real McKenzies, and she wasn't really stoked that there were these fucking hoodlums backstage, kind of upsetting the.
Well, there's a weird balance backstage. Like people that
Vibe, yeah.
There is a balance backstage, and when you're a headliner
Yeah.
like Patti Smith, everything
Yes.
is about her. And we just walked
That's
in and went
fair.
like fucking barf.
Yeah,
Woo,
it's
fuck,
not like
cock,
like
booze,
she
boo,
probably
let's
had
party.
like she probably had very very sourced candles to like you know what I mean, like very specific aroma, very specific everything. It's just designed to give her the best performance ever.
Yeah, it was
And
full-
you guys
it was
just
her
show
show.
up.
It
And
was
you're
her
like,
show.
God damn, where we get the liquor? What the fuck?
Well, we had our own backstage and stuff, but you know they let us loose.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah,
we
fair
were
enough.
just hanging out, partying, having
Sometimes
having a
just
good
knowing
time.
though that
First of
someone
all,
else
it's
is
a
having
crazy,
that time.
insane show. I don't know. Anyway.
And we're all
Seriously,
Patti
though,
Smith fans.
Patti
too.
Smith is fucking
Yeah,
rad.
so-
obviously.
Wonderful.
That's why I was just
Wonderful.
like, wait. So long tonight, so long tonight.
So good. And plus, I'm a huge fan of Fred Smith too, and the MC5 and Sonic's Rendezvous Band.
Dude,
and
MC5.
so that you know that's
ta-
Patti
we were-
that's Patti Smith's husband.
We were talking Detroit icons earlier. We were fucking talking about MC5 is like
Yeah.
right at the top of that fucking heap. Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands.
Absolutely.
Actually, the Real McKenzies just participated. I facilitated. We just participated.
And
Participated.
and facilitated.
What the fuck was that? You're gonna edit the shit out of this and make sure.
No, this is raw. If my shitty fucking woodcut story goes in, then your abs. No.
We don't. The woodcut story can fucking leave town, man.
Absolutely.
If you catch me saying participated,
I'm here with Trezoy Zizak.
no. Who cares? Anyway,
Yeah,
next
fine.
topic.
It's
Fuck, let's
fine.
go.
Oh, here we. Oh, he's
I
throwing-
forget.
By the way,
moving on.
off air, he was
forget.
like, "If I say next topic, that's it."
Oh yeah, I totally
I
laid
just
it out
want
like
you
that.
guys to know. I'm like, whoa, that's a hot button issue. Okay, well,
I
like,
can't remember what I was talking about. That's
don't-
why I said that.
Listen, don't ask me about Patty Smith's green room, okay? Fuck you. Okay, don't ever bring that up. I was like, Jesus, Troy, you're being very aggressive about your late '80s, early '90s fucking pop stars. I want to talk about.
I love Patti Smith. So anyway,
She's
End of the
fantastic. I want to ask you a couple questions. Some of this stuff is just going to be like totally random, so I hope you're ready for it.
Bring it.
I would like to know.
Green.
Yep. How did you fucking know that? That was so weird. What would you say is your personal tour survival tip that you've learned over the years? Because I've had a few people in your seat tell us.
So I'll tell you what.
So I want to
man.
know this one.
So here's what's gonna happen.
Sure.
Okay, so the guy who gets off tour and he's like, "Oh yeah, well you eat right, you don't drink too much, you do a little bit of Pilates, maybe some advanced Pilates down by the pool." Fuck that.
Yeah.
They're really.
Was this Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah,
Like,
there
what the
is
fuck?
no on the road when you're touring for a long time.
By the way,
Just making sure you get enough fucking sleep and eat enough is
Yeah.
the most important thing.
Obviously.
Because we're typically you have to drink every day, especially in a band like the Real McKenzies, the champions.
It's just business
partying.
drinking, right? Like it's part of the gig, and you have to be able to do it in a way that's appropriate. Actually,
Well, we all drink,
Right.
So we all drink and we all
Right.
enjoy alcohol. I don't condone anyone going up and fucking ruining their life with booze, but part of what we do is we are a good night out. So if you go out to see the Real McKenzies, you're not going out to sit down and cross your legs and sit on your fucking phone and text like an asshole.
No.
You're going to
It is
raise
a
a glass.
night.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
going. It's
fucking
an event.
night.
We're
Yes.
gonna make a mess. We're gonna swear. We're gonna spit. We're gonna curse. We're gonna you're gonna see some dick. You're gonna see some balls.
we just lost C-Mart, by the way. He'd take a piss.
Yeah.
You're right, though. It's going to be a fucking
It's
night.
a good
yeah.
night out. It's supposed to be a good night out. If you go to a Real McKenzie show and don't have fun, we didn't do our job because we're there to have fun.
You know what's really interesting about that is the idea behind the show is that it's supposed to be fucking fun and entertaining. And
Always.
People that go out to shows and they're like, I'd rather sit down and have like a time, Like for instance, here's
Like me now that I've turned 143.
What the fuck? We're not that far. We're not that far apart.
No, we're not. We're
No,
not.
we're about. Let's see. You're turning 43, or you're?
I'll be 44 in a month.
Okay. So we're about 11 years apart. I'll be 33 next year.
Wow.
Yeah. Do I seem?
No, you look so much older than me.
Thank you for
wow.
that highbrow compliment.
Fucking
Thank you,
jerk
sir.
off.
Appreciate it. But did I not tell you earlier though? I was like, oh, you're 40, you're 43, going on 30. Clearly.
Oh, it's so sweet when you said that.
That's right.
I felt my pecker flutter like
Yeah.
a pigeon having a
Yeah.
heart attack.
Yeah, I don't want to brag.
Were we
but,
flirting? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You're a smart fella. Fuck.
Figure it out, man.
I have a lot of questions, but to be honest with you, here's the thing. A lot of people come and do this show, and they think that the title of the show is so literal. They're like, it's Intergalactic Interviews, and they're like, okay, it's an interview. Like it's like I'm gonna ask all the questions. It's really just a conversation. It's really just a long form conversation, and people sometimes
dialed
get
into
caught up
that.
in it. I'm fucking glad you dialed into that because like I've been thinking about the edit of this. And I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. I haven't done my end for sure. I'm trying my best, but
I haven't done your end either. Oh, snap!
Get a shot of my face here. Zoom in. Yeah.
You're going to edit that out
Oh!
for sure. All the edits. Like you said, the edits are going to be crazy.
C-Mart comes back. He's like, I got a homosexual indicator on the.
Hey, man, all good.
No, you know what? It's not homosexual if it's Desire. Okay, all right. Look, reality, though, I just want to say, you have a very unique perspective, though, in the fact that you're part of this very legendary group in the Real McKenzies. Like, they've been around since 92?
Yeah.
92, right? So, I mean, they've seen pre-internet, they've seen during internet, and then now, like, post. Like you're talking about like doing shit for Spotify and stuff like that. Like the idea of that when the band started in '92 is like that's like you may as well be talking like Roswell Area 51 shit.
Yeah.
Like it's so you know what I mean? It's so beyond the comprehension of like the average person.
It's weird how it changes. Yeah.
Very strange, but the band lives on. Things
Yeah,
are going
sure.
on. I have a question. The band itself, when you guys are on stage, the reaction you guys get from the crowd is always just like, from what I've seen, and it is always just like so strong. Has there ever been a particular crowd or a show where you're like, whoa, this like stands out? This is like something that you're like, even for you, because you're like, I mean, we're talking about doing crowds of like 15,000, 20,000 at a time.
Yeah.
Like they're big festivals, and then you're like, whoa, what the fuck happened there? This is like the biggest fucking reaction. You know, like do you have something that stands out for you recently, maybe?
Unfortunately, at the moment, like big crowds are always awesome to play in front of.
Sure.
But playing in front of those giant crowds, those aren't the shows that stand out for me as much as I like to do them, because they are awesome, especially when you see the photos.
Right.
Because it looks like, it looks like you could lie and say you're in front of 100,000
Look,
people.
Mom.
Because you can't even tell. Like, because oh shit. You get some.
Oh, I'm gonna edit
Are we
the
good?
shit out of
totally
your
fine.
voice.
Was there a lot of
bro.
noise?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll make that edit.
That's fine.
But anyway,
Please continue. Yeah, please.
So, I guess those shows are memorable in the sense that I keep burping. Holy fuck!
Well, maybe you shouldn't
But-
drink 20 fucking beers in one
God
sitting.
damn it! Hang on a
What are
second.
you talking about? No. I
Let me
don't
get
agree
my
with this.
bearings. God damn it!
Yeah.
God damn.
Acclimatize oneself.
I'm
So
doing
the-
okay.
The big shows are great and very memorable, and I love doing them, and I wish I could do more. But quite often, the shows that are most memorable are the weird shows. Like there's anomalies when you're on tour, things you'll get to do that no other touring band gets to do.
Explain that.
So, like this year, for instance, we played a prison in France.
A prison.
Yeah, we played this prison in France.
What?
And it's a place called France, and in Paris.
What?
And so this
It's called Friends in
yeah,
France.
like Frenes.
Yeah,
France,
yeah.
Which is basically like, if you think, it's like a suburb of Paris.
It's a funny.
So
anyway.
this prison is the second oldest prison that's still operating in France. So to make that clear,
Interesting.
the prison was built in 1896 or 98, something like that. Around there.
A
But
while ago.
Yeah, so it's the only one that old still operating. All the other older
crazy.
ones have closed down.
Wow.
So, but the interesting thing about this place
man.
was
Marty Super's.
that, during World War II,
I was
it's
going to
where-
say World War II is going to get all fucking
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, so in World War-
I knew it was
in
World
World
War
War
II.
II,
I knew it would get weird.
the
in World War
Gestapo were occupying France, and they
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
all the POWs there. So they
Vichy,
kept
yeah.
POWs from all over the world
Yeah.
at this particular prison. And when we took Normandy,
Familiar? Yeah.
they had some battalions. I think I'm using the correct terms.
Sure.
But they sent out some troops or some soldiers to liberate the POWs
Yeah.
at this prison in Paris.
Okay.
The Gestapo caught wind of this
Mm-hmm.
and executed every prisoner.
Jeez.
Holy
And
mother.
then-
Fuck. Seriously?
Yeah, and then also during the French
Because they knew they couldn't defend it, I assume.
Oh,
yeah,
my-
so
they killed
also
them
during the
all.
French Resistance, this is where they kept all
That's
the
a
people
war
from
crime, by the way.
when they
It's a major war
where
crime, by the way.
also during the French Resistance is where they kept all the all the people from the French Resistance, and they executed them by very brutal. They butchered them
Yeah.
with
Yeah, yeah,
machetes and stuff like that. So
my God.
So we're in this
Really?
prison. Yeah, we're playing in this prison now. There's a government-funded program where this prison is no longer a maximum security prison. It's too old. It's not really. It's
It's
in
like
the middle.
stonemason, basically.
It is. It's
yeah.
in the middle of the city. So basically, at this point, it's like remand. It's all the prisoners who are awaiting
trial and prosecution.
Awaiting sentencing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're awaiting sentencing. They've already been to trial and stuff like that. They're awaiting sentencing. So there's a government-funded program to help them realize what they could be missing if they keep fucking up, I guess. So they bring in things from the outside. So they have art shows.
Yeah.
They do
Oh,
bands
interesting.
and stuff like that. So this guy
I
brought
see.
us in and we played a set, and then they do a Q&A after. So
You did a Q&A with prisoners?
in Paris where no one spoke English.
Holy shit. So
Fuck.
and where they probably actively disliked the fact that you did not speak French.
We didn't receive any real negative stuff. There were some people who were uninterested.
Right.
There was no negativity.
Really? Okay.
Oh, fair.
But probably the best thing of it was one guy decided that he asked us, he had to get it translated, but he actually came on stage. He just wanted to jam with us.
Really?
Like how, in what
What did he play?
way?
What did
he
he
just
play?
sang. So we played one of our songs slow, and he just sort of rapped over it.
What a weird turn of events.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Did you know what he was in for?
We had no questions like that. Like, I mean, a certain amount of etiquette. Like, we don't.
So
Yeah,
he could have been like straight up psychopath. You have no idea.
He also could have
I
just
doubt it.
songs
It
badly
didn't seem-
and in jail for it.
He might have just been a
I
petty,
feel like they wouldn't
petty
have put us
crime.
in harm's way where there was someone who was.
I don't know. Do you remember when Metallica did their fucking Saint Anger video? They showed them signing the waivers at the beginning when they went to San
We had to
Quentin.
sign waivers too.
Well,
Right,
I mean, like,
where they say like, if you're taken hostage, did they make you sign that?
did they really sign the waiver?
We had to.
Yeah,
we had to
yeah.
sign a piece of paper, and I don't know. And to be totally honest, I didn't really care. I was just like, yeah, fuck, cool, man. It's $1,000. And
Allegedly.
we're gonna do it. And
Allegedly,
we're playing
it's actually 10,000. We want all the bookers to book you 10 times as much. So.
yeah, man. So it was really just like it wasn't a nothing. I didn't really care. I was just like, yeah,
Oh, I
we're
hear
gonna
you.
do the gig.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is an interesting gig. I'm excited to do it. So I'll just sign anything, go in and play it. Nothing's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen. I have full.
Yeah.
Like
If something goes
I-
sideways, we got.
I have
room-
full
room to
trust in
move.
our agent. I have full trust in our German agent, our European agent, that
Yeah,
they're going to
totally.
book us safe gigs. So I didn't even.
That's a mega amount of trust, by the way.
No,
It's
not.
not.
No, it's,
It's
not
not.
at
It's
all.
not.
It's
That's
a
completely reasonable
Dude,
amount of trust.
dude,
It's
they
a
gotta-
reasonable amount of trust.
It's totally reasonable.
All right, maybe my trust level's way off.
I
Maybe
think-
my piss level's way off. I got to take a leak.
Hey.
Man. Can we pause the podcast?
Tell you what.
Can we pause the podcast for a minute? I
We're
gotta-
Project Prush.
Tell you what. If you want to assimilate,
In here?
eliminate. I'll tell you what. If you want to rock, you can go. I'll tell you what. The long-standing tradition though on this show is when the guest leaves to take a piss.
We talk a lot of shit.
It's a lot of
about
shit
you.
talking.
Go ahead, man.
He's like, I'm in. I'm in.
What minute are we at? Just so I know where I can fast forward through all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
horse shit and get to the fucking shit talk.
50 something.
Okay, right on.
All right.
Okay, so honestly,
Actually, we're gonna go long. By the way, I just wanted you to know.
We need someone. We need
Yeah.
a beer runner.
I can't believe we're already rocking this hard. So, far back to the
either
right.
side.
You want to go back there, bro? I just want to say this.
I don't like.
Troy is a very
I
talented
have never
guy.
liked a guest on the show.
Just
joking.
by the way, yeah, it's like he's like, I just want everyone to know, never like to get any guests. I'm like, really? So the only episodes you
No,
like?
it's great.
Wait. So the only episodes you like are the crew episodes?
I don't like those either.
I can't blame you. I
Yeah.
mean,
I actually don't like
you get to
those.
stare at this fucking guy. Nice.
That's way too much.
Nice,
Way
handsome
too much.
fella. By the way, let's talk about the fact that you and the rest of the Boomsday Alliance decided to plan a Vegas trip without me.
So
Let's
I'd like to talk
this.
about something important, which is
Why is the fucking camera on?
It's not on anything.
Non-seat.
That's on what
It's
it
still
might
on me?
go- Yeah.
All right. Well, look at me right now. Boomsday Alliance. You know what you did. You know you didn't invite me on this fucking Vegas
So what's
trip,
interesting?
and I love
So
you guys.
if we're gonna talk about something that's
MD,
worthwhile of value,
you're so busy, MD. I'm
Whatever.
sure. Blah blah blah.
By
By the way, shout out to alleged friend of the show, Shane Clark, for not inviting me on this Vegas trip.
Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, boys. It's not like it's my favorite place on earth and that I like to drink Jack or anything. Not a big deal.
So have you seen this, MD?
What's this?
Have you seen Dallas Cowboys owner?
I think you sent me this earlier, right?
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys owner
Hold
Jerry
on,
Jones.
Hold on, let me.
All right, throw this on the screen for the people. I'll read it up. Go ahead. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones acquires Complexity Gaming. Now, I should point this out before we go any farther. Jerry Jones is a motherfucker. He is not.
He bought the Cowboys for some amount of millions.
By the way,
and they are worth billions.
By the way, this is the only NFL owner that I know of that came out during the whole Neil situation and said he would personally suspend anyone on his team that kneeled during the anthem.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
So
that's troublesome.
So there's Jerry Jones. By the way, shout out to Shea Carter. He's a big Dallas Cowboys fan. He told me most of my my Cowboys knowledge. And I do not know anything about that. That's fine.
I'm just saying it's kind of.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Troy Zach.
Were you guys being
I'm just
dicks?
saying it's kind of no.
What were you talking about?
As soon as you left, C-Mart expressed that he's never liked any guest on the show, including Troy Zach.
Wow.
And then I said, not even our crew episodes where it's just me and him. And he was like, no, not a big fan.
No, we were talking about Dallas Cowboys owner
Did you see
Jerry
this?
Jones.
Check this out, bro. So I don't know if you know this, but C-Mart has been working in the video game industry for the last like 12 years, 11 years.
Actually,
11 years.
Like,
we talked. We
you
actually
know?
used to be roommates.
Okay. Really? Jeez, I get
News to me. Good
gotta
to
say,
know.
my research is shit because I did not know that. Okay, but no, seriously though, pull up that headline real quick. This is important because this is very interesting. So we have a very conservative NFL owner, because this is the only guy we were just saying right now. Troy, check this out. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones acquires Complexity Gaming. Now, Jerry Jones is the only NFL owner that I know on the record that said that he would suspend any of his own players that kneeled during the anthem.
That's shitty.
So
That's fucking
that whole
shitty.
shit that came out.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only guy, so he's uber conservative, right? Not to mention he owns a franchise in Texas, so like
It is an insane franchise, though.
right. Now it is very valuable. And
So what I like this article personally from Game Industry.
Gamesindustry.biz. Who wrote this?
So what I like about this
Hayden
industry,
Taylor wrote this. It says, esports continues to provide enticing investment opportunities for those outside the industry. The latest entrants are the Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and investment partner John
This is the main
Goff,
guy, John Goff.
who have acquired a majority share in Complexity Gaming. Now, just really quick,
What's interesting. Sorry.
Complexity Gaming owns what?
They just have a lot of teams. I mean, you can see that here they have 26 different. They compete in different games, of course. But the interesting thing to me is
wait. It's an esports franchise team.
But what's Jennifer Lopez got to do with it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So she also bought.
Asking the hard questions.
No, it's important because she also Lopez in where is it? Sorry, in September, not too long ago, also purchased stakes in companies that are invested in esports. And so I'm really
So not directly, but like through a management firm.
Directly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, according to ESPN, J-Lo joined other big names like Marshawn Lynch and Michael Strahan of the NFL and retired New York Yankees batter Alex Rodriguez. So quickly,
they're buying in, right?
All those names we just mentioned.
They're buying into conglomerate companies.
All those names we just mentioned are in the 200 to 300 million club easily. So when they're buying in,
sure.
I would say that that's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
That's like a very.
What's interesting to me is that this John Goff guy bought in to the Dallas Cowboys. If I can find the number here, that's annoying. Anyway, he bought into the Dallas Cowboys early and turned them into $1 billion franchise, like $1 million. Thing, whatever, which you would assume a sports team would be.
They're struggling, and then what they did was
they're one of the most recognizable names in sports.
You know, are you familiar with their arena? You've heard of their arena. Their arena has the biggest screen on the planet, like which is crazy to say. Which is crazy to say this, but like
it's a dick thing.
It's totally a dick. It's like everything's bigger in Texas. That's what it comes down to. Seriously,
well, Texas is big.
Yeah, you don't mess with Texas. You played Texas before?
I love Texas.
Where's the last place you played in Texas?
Oh, the last place? I don't know, but my favorite place to ever played was on the Juarez border. I think it's El Paso. It's on the Juarez border. I was playing out there with the Vibrators, and we had all these fucking punk rock kids come up from Juarez.
That sounds wonderful.
Dude,
insane.
They crossed the border specifically to watch punk rock. Now,
they did, and they're fucking insane.
Dude,
very passionate.
Very passionate.
Very passionate fans.
Whenever you have trans-border fan experiences, it's always very intense because you're talking about people that like plan their whole fucking day and life and week.
And plus, they have to go
right?
through the shittiest border in the fucking one of the
course.
shittiest borders in the world. Juarez is the most dangerous place in the world that's not declared a war zone.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
That's insane.
Everything I read about that makes me feel like when you hear about the wall, like Trump's wall, you're like, that sounds pretty racist. But then like you hear about Juarez, and you're like,
it is racist.
You're like, I don't know. Like if you, here's the thing, in Ontario, if you knew that, let's say you knew that in Michigan it was just like fucking chaos, like Civil War style, and everyone's like, maybe we should put up maybe like Windsor.
We should go to Windsor.
Like maybe we just put up a wall. Like it doesn't have to be a big wall, but just enough to like a border or something.
You know what? I guess El Paso, Juarez, we have Windsor, Detroit. Over the bridge. You can hear gunfire from Windsor. It's
That's
like,
right.
And then bang, bang, bang.
That's right.
It's
I'm
like,
just saying that like there's a major fucking difference between like Detroit's fucked and then versus like Juarez. They roll heads down the fucking street kind of thing. Like you're like, oh, as a message, you're like, no, for fun. And you're like, oh shit, okay, maybe we should put up just a partition. It doesn't have to be a wall. Like a limo partition where like just like a glass comes down.
It's a fucking red tape would work.
Would you endorse a red tape? Just like a strong red tape.
As a joke, I would.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It'd be funny to see how long
as
that
a song.
lasts.
That's what the context comes out of this. Fucking the Hard Times posts a satire article, but everyone takes it seriously. It says the hardtimes.net. Troy Zach of the Real McKenzies endorses Windsor Wall.
Windsor Wall, yeah. I endorse Windsor, Detroit red tape. Not a wall, but just red tape in the tunnel. Not on the bridge. The tunnel.
Fuck, man. I have a lot of questions for you. When you were taking up music, your very first run into music, because first you were just like a big fan, right? You're just like checking label names and you're like, I love this.
When I first got into music?
Yeah.
I was 4 years old, man.
Okay. So you're already in, but you loved it, right?
Yeah.
At what point were you like, I think I want to learn bass? Was that first, or did you learn another instrument?
No. Bass came when my friend Savage Henry from Savage Henry and the Infamous One Pounders, we were riding in a van one day, and he was just like, I have a gig. The band, it wasn't Savage Henry at the time. His name was Rich, but Rich had a gig with his band, and they didn't have a bass player. And it was coming up in like a week. Someone dropped out. He was like, can you play guitar, bass, anything? And I said, no. I'd never even held a bass. I knew it had 4 strings, but I'd never really seen one.
Gee, can I just say right away, the balls of just being like, no. And then they're just like, all right, you're the guy.
He just said, do you want to give it a shot? And I said, yeah. And I really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the point in time, when you're growing up in small town Saskatchewan, I mean, everyone, it's so stereotypical.
No, we vibe on that.
Everything is actually fucking true.
Yeah.
Because when you grow up as a kid there, you are a fucking really naive, especially in the 80s, like 70s, 80s.
Pre-internet was like
you are
very
so naive of so many things. So
I mean, you were still slapping teachers at that age.
I was still smacking teachers. But so he just said, "Hey, you know what? I'll teach you a few songs, and you're gonna play this gig." It was like homecoming; you only play a few songs anyway. It wasn't like a real gig. And I said, "Yeah." And then he taught me how to play, and I put tape on the neck, and I moved one finger around like this, and I played
Gangster.
We did a couple CCR tunes or something, and
Which ones?
and that was it. And then I put it down for years. We did Coming Around the Bend, but we did the Hanoi Rocks version because although I'm a huge CCR fan, I'm a major fan of Hanoi Rocks.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? We're about to connect mega right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons
why
Hanoi
Rocks?
I really hate Motley Crue, is because fucking Vince Neil killed Razzle.
Can I just fucking say right now, I am a mega Hanoi Rocks fan.
Yeah, I love Hanoi Rocks.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? Troy, I think we just became very, very, very...
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go down to the garage and practice karate?
Yup. We have so much room for activities.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can talk about Hanoi Rocks forever.
I love Hanoi Rocks.
Okay, so please continue. Okay, so...
But yeah, we did like a Hanoi Rocks song.
I can't believe you like Hanoi Rocks.
Faster Pussycat song or something, and then it was over, and then I quit. I quit. I fucking got in the radio. I graduated high school. I got a job in radio, I was working in radio for a few years.
So you've had this like very, very like crazy career where you're constantly connecting with crowds. You constantly are engaging with people that don't initially know you, but then learn to love the presence that you have. Like that's the reality of your position.
I guess.
Probably never thought about it like that.
I guess. Thanks, man.
Because you're like
thanks, bro.
Actually, and this is NPR, so we'll be back in 5 minutes with Troy's.
I don't know.
If you say so, man.
It's like, and this is the sweet sounds of Lucius Lovover, and he does a pan flute solo, 22 minutes.
Yeah, pan flute. Bring the flute.
No, seriously though, like if you look at the commonality of like
sure.
everything you're going through,
yeah, it's
like,
all music oriented, really, and
like,
yeah, for sure.
I would even say even deeper than that. It's just connecting with people. It's connecting with crowds. Even like if you look at when you moved to broadcasting,
For sure.
okay, how old were you when you started that?
17.
17.
I actually fucking lied. I was still in high school, and I went to this radio station. I fucking lied to the radio station. I said
Allegedly.
I lied to them, and I said, yeah, I had graduated high school, and I was looking for a job as an intern, as if they would have any intern work. So meaning I could basically run the mailroom or something like that. And they said, well, we have an opening as an operator.
Okay.
Which meant you had to, like, an operator is the guy who sits at the fucking console, and basically at that point in time, in the 90s, it was...
Is this such a...
You push buttons, man. You play the music, you run the commercials, you make sure all the sponsors are getting their...
I love this was an open gig. Like nowadays, you'd have to be born into this role. Like you'd have to, your dad would have had to be the operator,
for sure.
basically.
So like I did that, and then I did that for about 2 months overnight. But I was still in high school, so I'd work from 12 a.m. till 6 a.m.
Wake up for school,
and then I would stay up, and I would go to school at 8:30.
Jesus.
And then I would stay up, and then I would go to school till 3. And then I would go home and I would nap, wake up, eat dinner, and be at the station for 11 to pull all my pits off the wire. We had a wire at the time. It was like a fax machine that...
Legit.
Yeah.
It would like be like...
yeah, it was like
New
one of those.
Ramones.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I guess.
So I would do that, and then I did that for a little while, and then eventually they put me on air. So I would do graveyards.
Okay.
So I was still in high school doing graveyards.
Were you still 17? Was that early?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
I was. So it was like... I was doing all this shit when I was in high school, so all my friends were going to high school parties, and I was on air. I was on air at night, so they would fucking turn on the radio at their parties or in their vehicles.
Shut the fuck up.
And they'd be like, yeah, we're going to a party, and they'd phone up from a party, and they'd turn on the radio and be like, hey, man, can you play Billy Joel's Piano Man? Or can you play this song? Or can you play Led Zeppelin's Black Dog? So I would do that for them. I would play all this shit, and then we had this phone that was beside the console, and it was called the Bat Phone. And our program director, Gavin Tucker, who's the biggest piece of shit in the world, he works for Jack FM right now. I think he works in Calgary. He's
currently?
Yeah, he's a fucking weasel, man.
Allegedly.
If I met the guy, I would punch him in the throat.
Allegedly.
I don't hate anyone, but I hated this man. He was the worst boss. You ever seen Swimming with Sharks?
Yes.
This was him.
Wow, really?
He was a fucking piece of work.
Really? That's a strong claim.
He treated me like a piece of shit. Whew. Yeah, so...
Just like that, though? Because I was like a motherfucker.
He was a motherfucker.
Jesus
so, like, the
Christ.
bat phone would ring. And I'd be like, why the fuck is the phone ringing? And I'd be like, hello. Because it was a phone directly from our program director or our engineer to the
How often? Like, what time of night?
I'm talking like 3 a.m.
Okay.
He'd wake up in the middle of the night to have a piss or fucking do whatever he was doing, turn on the radio for a split second and hear me playing Black Dog, and phone and be like, what the fuck are you doing playing Black Dog? And be like, fuck, I'm sorry. There was a hole in the playlist, or, the CD was skipping, so I grabbed a cart from behind me and threw it. I happened to be Black Dog. And he'd be like, never let it happen again. Your ass is grass, Zach.
We don't like Led Zeppelin in this goddamn place.
Plus, I'm playing like the Bible Belt, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's the Bible Belt, Saskatchewan. So there's all these fucking uptight pieces of shit who can't fucking handle anything other than... It's like, Kim Mitchell's Patio Lanterns is about as crazy as...
That's a nice song. Actually. Wait.
It's a lovely song.
Those patio lanterns all there.
Yeah, so that was the start of it. That was the start of it for me, was working in radio. Well, I was still in high school. And then one day, they pulled me into the office, and the fucking program director held up the paper, and it said, graduating high school class, and my fucking picture was in it, and they said, you're still in high school?
Oh, shit.
And I was like, yep. sorry. I was like, what's up? Am I fired? You know, because I'm ready to just tell these guys, fuck you. You know, am I fired? I'm just like,
You're cool. Fuck
if
you.
I'm fired, tell me I'm fired.
Yeah.
And they said, so you lied to us? And I said, yeah. I lied to you and I'm sorry, but I really wanted the job. I really wanted to be in radio. My heroes were in radio. Sidenote, Wolfman Jack, all these guys, they're legends. I wanted to be in radio. And they said, so you lied to us? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, that's a pretty good lie. So they kept me on.
Wow.
They kept me on. And they started calling me Peter Parker.
No shit.
Really?
Yeah, they started calling me Peter Parker.
Fucking alt ego fucking for real.
So it was really funny, but I ended up getting fired from them because I used to steal the Country 800 van because
allegedly
we turned into a country station and we had a radio station van, and I used to jack the van every night that I wasn't working. So I would go up into the newsroom and I'd take the keys to the van. I'd go out and take all my buddies, throw them in the fucking van. We'd drink and drive all night. Cops would see the van, the radio station van.
But they loved it.
And they would just pull up. I'd be up at the red light. Oops, sorry, I hit the thing again.
That's good.
And I'd be like, hey, what's up, dudes? And they'd be like, oh, it's Troy. He's coming off some remote from Swift Current or Regina or something like that. Yeah. And all the other dudes would be laying on the floor, drinking their beer.
Yeah.
So I used to be the safe guy to go pick up drugs, booze, chicks, take people from party to party.
What was the station ID? Go ahead.
Hang on. It was like it was this. It was like continuous country 800, where we tell you the name of the song where we tell you the name of the artist after every song. Here's another country 6-pack.
Oh shit!
Here's another country 6-pack. Tammy Wynette. 6 in a row.
It's like, this is a continuous
and then
country.
It was continuous country 800.
Yeah, 800. We put the cunt in country or some shit.
We're taking the O to country and putting the dick back in Dixie.
God damn. Dude, I gotta say, that was more entertaining than I thought it would be. That was really fucking good. That was really
what
good.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, that's pretty rude.
We're trying to say it's not supposed to be fucking good. I'm like, dude, Troy, I'm just trying to assess the situation.
Now it's weird.
You're the one trying to say it's not good. I'm like, dude, you're the fucking one who said.
Right.
Actually, check it out. I have an idea. What are we at for runtime right now? A little bit. Good. Eh? We're gonna roll because I have a lot of questions. If you're good, I'm not keeping you, am I?
No, man. I just think we only have 4 beer left, and I'm pretty thirsty.
4 beer, and there's 3 of us.
Yeah,
it's a danger zone.
Do you
Panic line. He's rocking. Yep. Pass one to C-Mart there.
Appreciate that.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So I have a question. After you started playing bass, after that fateful van ride where you chatted and got put into it, did you like suddenly start looking to existing bass players as like idols, or was it like, hey,
not really,
you also fell into it essentially? No, you said
not really.
Like, what happened there?
Just wanted to be part of something cool. And I didn't really care what instrument I played or anything like that, but it was more about being in a band that was full of people I could identify with.
Yeah. So it wasn't like, oh, Jason Newsted, Twiggy Ramirez.
Well, it was. Well, at the time, I because I had started playing bass, I identified with 2 players, and that was Cliff Burton and Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. So Cliff Burton of Metallica,
Steve Harris,
and Cliff Burton,
motherfucker.
Yeah, Cliff Burton of Metallica, and that was because I didn't have a pick because there was no guitar stores where I lived. So they were like, well, you're going to play with your fingers. Yeah. So these guys play with their fingers. And then after that, it was the Descendants. It was Carl.
So wait a minute. You were already playing with your fingers because they played with their fingers.
I played with my fingers because I didn't own a guitar pick.
Okay. Do you currently play with your fingers?
Yeah.
For Real McKenzie?
Yeah,
you've been asked before to like, can you play with a pick? Yeah,
I have been asked before to play with a pick, and I never have done it.
People that are at home right now that don't play an instrument like this, it's a significant difference in terms of playing. It's like being ambidextrous, essentially, right? Like if you,
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I can't really say. Like I just can't play with a pick. You know, one of my favorite songwriters is Didi Ramon, and he played with a pick. But I just don't play with a pick. I play with my fingers, right? And it's because I've done that all the time. And
people don't understand though. Like,
I even play guitar with my fingers, so I don't even play. I just don't use picks
ever.
Okay,
so people that are listening right now, I need to explain how significant that is, because the idea, like, okay, if you look at the gauge of a bass string, playing that with your fingers,
substantial.
Yeah, if you don't have the calluses built up or just any kind of wherewithal,
you get some pretty good scars.
Yup, it'll fuck you up big time, because like we're talking about like basically playing with power lines essentially. Like it's very thick cable, and you're playing consistently, especially at a punk level. Like this isn't Mumford and Sons. You're not fucking like do do do.
Never heard of her.
Do. Exactly.
How dare you?
The shade.
No, I've heard of them.
Troy, Troy's like, actually, I have heard of them, but just
I couldn't name you the song. Was it? I will wait
for you.
It's a good song.
There's nothing on Fuck the Real McKenzies.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, anyway.
It's a great song, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
Hey, music is good.
It is fucking good. Yeah, like I should have to explain that. Wait, at this point, if I was like,
producers
by
hammered.
the way, yeah, like
the producers hammered, man.
Yeah, like at this point, if I was like, by the way, Real McKenzies, you should probably check it out. Everyone's like, really? At this point? Like, no. Like, if you're not convinced at this point, go fuck yourself. Like, it's pretty fucking great music. You should check it out.
I like, what was the song you mentioned? Fuck the Real McKenzies?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's what I was.
I like that.
The switch up in that.
Name. I like that.
Spoiler alert, but like the fact that it's presented initially as like, fuck the Real McKenzies, fuck the Pogues, fuck
the Mahones,
fuck the Mahones, like
Flogging Molly,
fuck Flogging Molly, all the like the godfathers of Celtic music, and then like it slowly switches from like, because it seems very much like fuck them, and then it slowly turns into like, yes, fuck them every day. If you see them, fuck them. Do whatever you can to fuck them. And you're just like, oh, this is like a very fucking awesome song. I love that, man. That's so good. It's a great song.
The song is supposed to be a term of endearment towards the whole genre of music and the people who have helped build it. And now the problem that when we were doing the demos for this, it's actually a super funny story, because
what's up?
Because when we were doing this last record, we didn't even I wasn't even sure if we had a record deal, because Rats in the Burlap didn't really sit well in the laps of the label. It didn't really sit well with me either.
We're talking about Fat Wreck?
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy the record. I was the bass player, and
you were playing it.
I wrote some songs and I played on it, but I didn't enjoy the record. Now that's not to say that a lot of fans don't, because it does sell really well.
Well, for your own personal taste.
But for my own personal taste,
that's
the whole it's more about the experience that I had making the record. The experience that I had making the record wasn't the best one, because we weren't prepared. We went through, the band was going through a whole lot of turmoil. There was members dropping. There was problems like
we were talking earlier.
Band members were having problems.
Yeah.
You know, our Piper had been hit by a car. What? And so he had been hit by a
previous
car.
Piper, not current Piper, right?
The Piper at the time.
Yeah.
He was hit by a car that was doing like 100K.
Holy
and he
shit.
was lucky to be alive. You know, he has suffered no brain injury or spinal injury, but it took him a year to recover. Every bone in his body was broken except for his skull and his back.
Right. Jesus
we had,
Christ.
you know, our other guitar player had some issues going on at home. Everyone was going through this transitional thing in their life.
And so your memories of that are like
not good. We had canceled recording the album twice.
Wow.
So and we were in San Francisco at Mike's studio. So Mike was like, yeah, okay, you guys are recording at Motor. And we had canceled twice. And it was unfortunate, but it was just life. It was the cards that we were dealt at the time. So that when the third time came around that we had to record, we realized quickly that, you know, the last year had been so crazy that we didn't really have material enough to make a record, which is no big surprise for the Real McKenzies, because quite often they would go down and record a record with Fat, and it wasn't quite done yet. And then Mike would produce it, and it would be done, because Mike's job as a producer would tie up all the loose ends.
I honestly salute Mike on so many fucking levels.
Absolutely.
Specifically,
absolutely.
A lot of turnover he's dealing with is like significant, especially with players. But like suddenly, you personally reach out to Dan, right? No, we've had Dan on the show before. Dan Garrison. We're talking about Dan Garrison. Dan Garrison of the Core, and you reach out to him. And he, as he stated on this show before,
well, this is years later. That was years after.
So
this is years after that.
You did that album, and you guys toured that album, the balls off that album, right? And too much. Like fans love what they love, and essentially, but your personal experience for you, like, it wasn't the greatest experience for you, right?
Well, there were high points and low points. Everything has peaks and valleys. I can tell you some amazing high points and some of the.
Tell me one right now.
Writing music with Fat Mike. You know what I mean?
Like, how could that not be a high?
It was me. Cool. It was me, Mike, and our drummer in a room, and we wrote a song called "Midnight Train to Moscow," which is on Rats.
Fucking great song.
And I was there while Mike orchestrated that whole thing, and it was awesome. And then
so
also
he masterminded that whole record, that part.
Mastered that song. He masterminded that song. Yeah, and then like hanging out with like Little Joe from Lagwagon, who used to be the bass player in the Real McKenzies. He came in. He wrote a couple songs for the Real McKenzies. Lyrics and music, and I got to hang out with him, and he was talking like we were hanging out writing Yes or No, which is on Rats, and we went over the music together, and I remember in the middle of it he was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna take a break, you want to have a beer?" And I was like, yeah, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to listen to the rough mixes for Hang, like the new Lagwagon album?" I was like, "Whoa, fuck, dude."
Yeah, change your whole fucking vision for a second. You're like, actually, yes,
I'll do that. Yeah.
You're like, look, I don't want to brag, but yeah.
So those are high points. The low points were just like the way the whole album was put together, lack of preparation and lack of commitment from certain members, and the drugs and alcohol really seemed to inhibit some of the creative process at that point. It was, and we had a tour of South America booked. And we couldn't do it because we didn't finish making the record, and we had a due date for the album, and it was there was a lot of things that weren't cool that happened, but there was a lot of good things that came out of it.
Stuff like that happens, like specifically referring to the South America tour, because it's like it's already booked, and then it doesn't go through, and you feel like we're like letting people down, right? But like the reality is like shit wasn't ready. Like shit wasn't ready.
We had to finish the record. We had a due date for the record, and there was a lot of money and a lot of people hinging. Like the amount of effort that goes into putting out a record on any level. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, and I mean, we're not rock stars. We don't sell hundreds of thousands of albums.
No,
but
like,
I mean, even
it's consistent. Like people that show up,
it's consistent, and there's tours. There's tours and promotion. That are all like
earlier tonight,
it all comes down to like a point.
Yeah, like just to be clear, like earlier tonight, our bartender who serves us every week and our good friend wanted a photo with you, like that kind of thing. Like it's that kind of fucking consistency where you're just like, oh, okay, like this is a fucking thing. Like it's not like like we're not talking about like a fly by night thing. This is like
you have to like when you're finished. By the time you're finishing that record, there's another European tour being booked, and it takes 6 months to book that tour. And we start in May or June, and it's October, so that tour is being booked as the fucking tour that's going to promote this new album, and you're making it still. So what if it doesn't happen?
Yeah,
but that's how
it's a very narrow
window. That's how we were rolling at that point in time. We were just like, okay, this has to happen because we needed to tour. We needed to earn money. We needed to make a living. And if we didn't have a record, then we feel like we're not going to tour on a back catalog.
No. Yeah. I mean,
and you can. We could have.
Realistically, so many bands have been doing so well with that recently.
You can, like, and it's no problem with that. But
like, you guys are current. You're rare.
You put out a new record, you're going to do better. Yeah. If you tour on back catalog, unless you're like, there's bands who can do that successfully. Real McKenzies are not that band. We're not that popular. We're not that big where we can just sit on our back catalog. Other bands can, and if you have the power to do that, good for you. But we didn't, and we don't. So we have to have something new. We need a platform, and we need a campaign.
That's a really relevant and real, like very, like it's a good approach because I feel like a lot of bands would say they do have the back catalog, they do have the tenure. They do have this stuff.
Well, 25 years, I would still say we don't have the real.
But that's crazy that you would say that because, like,
I think bands are like half that tenure.
Yeah,
would probably fucking say they have it.
A tenth of that would say like, hey, we got the move. And they're probably right. But I think that's very honest and interesting that you would say that.
I would say even like this. I'd say probably more relevant is the fact that you guys are, like we talked about earlier, like a franchise team. There's the core, and then there's the players that come in and rotate based on their availability. But yourself, you've proven yourself to be part of this core.
Well, we have. Before you go on, I want to say that we do have the band on this new record.
Yeah, of course
we do have the band. We have had a lot of members change.
Absolutely.
But this, I would like to say, like on the new record, like on Two Devils, we do have the band. And it's
Two Devils will talk.
Everyone's
everywhere right
now. Everyone's goal to keep the band together. So as long as the people are willing to play and adhere to, the fucking basic rules
tenets,
of playing in the
wear a goddamn kilt, you fucks. Yeah,
wear a kilt and don't fuck up any relationships that we already have on the road. Okay,
pretty simple.
All right, yeah,
but you'd be surprised.
You would be very fucking surprised.
You know what?
Allegedly.
Sure, like obviously I got left with the group and everything like that. But the reason I say that it's like a sports franchise is just because like the turnover is almost like a part of the group in that like you guys are very consistent right now. I definitely agree to that. Would you say that like this current release, Two Devils Will Talk, is like the most significant release you guys have had in a long time? Like I think this has made the most waves I've heard about in the last 10 years.
I can't say. I know that this new album has done really well, but it's my favorite. But as a fan, my favorite was Off the Leash and 10,000 Shots. Those are the two best albums.
Yeah. Dude, those are. By the way, C-Mart, if you've never heard 10,000 Shots, it's one of the fucking dopest records.
It's an amazing. Seriously, those two albums are.
I love the name already.
Have you never heard that record? No, it's fucking great, man. It's so good.
Those are really really great albums. But this record, Two Devils Will Talk, is an amazing record. And Dan Garrison from the Core, the guy
friend of the show, fucking love this guy.
He did a great job of like pretty much saving the McKenzies, because before he jumped in, we had not a lot of good material and it was pretty hodgepodge, and I wasn't stoked.
When you hear stuff that you're not excited about, are you vocal about it? Do you say like, you know what, guys, I'm not artistically interested in this?
I wouldn't even be that polite.
Wow.
I would just say no.
Just no.
Maybe not. Maybe we can do better, or let's move on and find something else. But I mean, like, right away. Like,
that's very interesting.
You would know right away. You'll know right away if something doesn't work. And on Two Devils Will Talk, we didn't really have that problem because Dan was just fucking writing hit after hit.
Yeah. Dan just seems very raw. He seems like Dan's writing. Like when I listen to the Core and I listen to like A Killing Joke. Okay, and I listened to that song. I recently learned that on piano. He told me the chord structure, and I learned how to play it on piano. And I listened to that chord structure and the way he played, and his lyrics and the way that comes into it. And I think about Dan, and I was like, what the fuck happened here? Because this is like a fucking classic, like right away, that kind of sound. And then I listened to this album. Two Devils Will Talk sounds like you guys took steroids or some shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's like.
That's what happened.
Dan is the fucking steroids, is what I'm trying to say.
Dan, when we got together, when I asked Dan if he could write for this record, he was like, what are we going to do? What do you want? And I told him.
I love that he even asked.
Well,
that's so good.
I hired him. He didn't.
I know, right?
He was brand new. Like
he was very.
He was totally green. He's like, what do we do? And I'm like, I told him exactly. I said, if you can do it, because I can't. I'm not a songwriter. You know, I can write a song. I have a song on every record, or I have a song but it's like, but I'm not a fucking songwriter.
Songwriting is hard.
I'm not a great songwriter, but
like
Dan,
an album though is like
Dan is a songwriter, and I said I just want a fucking album that Fat Mike will like. I want an album that Fat Records will like.
Because you were coming in with, like we just talked about with the previous album, where you're like, I'll fucking tour this record, I'll play it, but I'm not totally comfortable.
And I wrote songs on Two Devils, on Rats. I wrote music on there, and I was there for the whole process. But I walked away from it saying like, it's not my favorite McKenzies record, but this one, Two Devils, is. But I remember saying to Dan, I'm like, I can't have another Rats. I want that album that's like Off the Leash and 10,000 Shots. Like, get back to that sound and all that stuff.
But check this out.
And he just said, yeah, okay, I can do that. So he was just so nonchalant. And I would go over to his house. Honest to God, I would go over to his place at 11 in the morning. This isn't even a fucking joke. I would go over to his place at 11 in the morning. I'd go over with a dozen Hayals. Iced tea vodka.
That's actually, he showed up the day we did the show.
Hayals, probably.
He was like, yo, I've been drinking Hayals all day, bro. And I was like, dude, he's like, yeah, Hayals and A&W root beer. I'm like, why are you even drinking that? What a minging fucking
But we would hang out in the living room and he'd be like, hey, I got this riff. Ding, 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 ding. And he'd be playing the song and we'd just be like, fucking, oh my God, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
So we would work on it. He would record it. Do the vocals. I would listen to it. We would talk about it. We would hang out all day. We would do this stuff. It was largely Dan doing it. My creative input was minimal or nothing.
You brought him into this whole situation.
But I was just hanging out and watching him build the record. And he's like, "You want to lay down some bass?" And I was kind of like, I don't know if I can right now. I don't know.
Do you want to teach me the chord progression?
Yeah, really. And that's sort of how it went. And then, so we did all these demos and we hung out. We drank all day. We had a lot of fun. And Dan ended up coming up with 10 of the songs on a 14-song record.
God damn, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, and we didn't even have, I was afraid we didn't even have a record deal at that point in time. Because Rats sat so low, I think, in like everyone at the label was just sort of like, you could tell.
I know the feeling you're describing. You're like, I know we're in, but I'm very curious about presenting the next material because I feel like it could be
it had to be good, and all the old school was gone. So Mike at the label, like everyone at the label, were like, oh, so we have just Paul is left.
And Paul was like,
Paul isn't really contributing to the record on this album. So what do we do, you know? And I remember the band was hinging on like maybe not having a fat deal. And I didn't tell anyone. I was just like, yeah, everything's going according to plan. Everything's going cool. You guys just fucking.
What else can you do at that
point?
We're
gonna be on the blah, blah. You guys all. Everyone's like, yeah, we're on fat. I'm like, oh man, you fucks.
TBD.
All these guys.
TBD.
And then our manager Matt, he calls me one morning. I'm walking downtown to do something. So it's a sunny day. I'm walking with my coffee over the Granville Street Bridge. My phone rings, and then it's our manager Matt Collier at Stomp Unilever Group, and he's like, "Yeah, Troy, you know, I just got a message back from Mike at Fat, you know, and he's happy." And I was like, "Really? What did you get? What did you get?" He's like, "Well, I got an email, and it reads," and he's reading the email to me. He's like, "Yeah, who wrote this record? It's shit. Just kidding. Good work,
JK."
I was like, fuck. And he's like, you guys are good to go, man. You're going to have a record on Fat. You're going to stay on Fat. And we really wanted to stay on Fat. Of course. But we didn't know if we could do it without Mike.
I don't even know.
Because Mike was instrumental in so many records.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the band really...
we were just talking about that record before,
yeah,
right?
we relied on him.
Yeah, like his influence is obviously instrumental. But like the idea we were just talking about earlier, like, okay, like, let's get real for a second. Where, like, fucking Fat Wreck is like top tier. It's
one of the best punk labels in the world.
I don't even know if there's like a better currently. I don't know if there's a better punk label you can be a part of.
It's very yeah.
So the idea that like we're on Fat Wreck, da da da, and you're like, Jesus, I fucking hope so. Like going into it, right?
Yeah.
And then you get this call that's like, not only are we on, but we're like, this is like this is the future. Like we're doing this shit.
Yeah. They were like, it's cool. You're still on the label. Like, I don't think Mike. Well, my manager is Matt. I don't think Mike.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't think Mike has actually fired guys from the label. I don't know. I don't know the history, but we were on very thin ice because we made a bad record.
I don't doubt it. I know what you're talking about.
I felt like it too because it was just such a loose record. But and then I saw him after the album was released, and I was doing a tour with the Isotopes. We were out with Face to Face and Chicks Dig It.
By the way,
and
I don't know if G-Tone's expressed this to you, but Face to Face is like pretty much his fucking inspiration.
Such a great band.
Yeah.
Nice guys too.
Him and Ryan Ruin actually in their old group. Yeah.
Well, they have Shiflet in the band.
That's right.
As a bassist, the guy's a monster,
dude.
One of the Shiflets.
Fucking Face to Face.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
But you know,
Chicks Dig It, by the way. Shout out to them too.
Shout out to Chicks. Always.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You're saying.
I can't remember what the fuck I
Dude,
was talking about.
I guess you're basically just telling me how much of a god you are when it comes to
Yeah,
fucking
no,
fun.
I'm not sucking my own dick. I think I was
Dude.
I was stroking other people's egos.
Yeah, you're like, look.
I'm not talking about me. I was talking about other people.
You're like, dude, I'm a fucking god, but here's some other dicks you should suck.
God damn it! No, that's not what happened. I was talking about the other people involved.
People listening right now, they're like, how dare you say that? How dare you say these are the kind of guy?
No.
Actually, I gotta take a minging piss.
Did the same
I do.
card?
I do. Why? What's going on?
So I can copy it over.
It's not recording?
It is. It has been. Yeah.
Are we not recording?
No, it has been.
Jesus, you just scared the shit out of me. We're sitting here fucking.
No, we're good.
Me and T-Roy over here.
We're saying, can I copy it over?
It's not ready yet.
We gotta get another 6-pack.
I'm gonna take a piss. I'll be right back. I can say this right now. This is a very special moment. In the 151 episodes we've ever done, I've only left ever once during the show. So this is for you.
Number 2.
All right. Number 2.
All right, and then 6-pack. We gotta get
Shit
6-pack.
my pants. Scottican. God, this is aggressive. I don't even know if I can.
Oh wait, this does. Oh, I'm totally gonna go to the gym tomorrow. I have gym at 2.
Jim, you have Jim? What are you from,
Jim,
like,
Jim
1997?
Gym
You
at
got
2. But like,
That's the name of the new McKenzies record. Gym at 2.
I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Like gym at 2.
Dude, you know what?
Hey, guys, I got Jim.
Okay,
I got
so
Jim.
I'm
I
about
got
to-
Jim.
I'm about to let you in on a fucking secret about punk rockers.
Record.
We're gonna go.
Hold on,
out.
wait.
It's recording.
Is it?
It's been recording.
It's been recording.
Like, whether you like.
We were talking so much shit.
All I did was shit talk C-Mart for 10 minutes.
As you should.
Wait,
Whatever.
can I just say everything we just said though is recorded? Isn't that funny?
What were we talking about?
Well,
like,
weren't you talking
yeah,
about?
Oh, right, your handsome face.
you're looking like
Oh,
you look,
shit.
my medium, handsome, very, very subjective.
6 out of
face.
10 head.
Yeah, everyone's like, dude, you're looking like a 6. I'm like, great. They're like, out of 6. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
I know, that's my.
nice,
I love that
nice."
line. I love that line.
Thank you, C-Mart, for running to get this liquor and providing us that line. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I thought you were only getting a 6-pack, but you got a does.
Well,
It's going on
It
for a while.
does-y.
people
It
seem
does-y.
a tiny bit thirsty.
Can I just say this right now?
No.
This is
Not
easily
allowed.
one of our longest running podcasts, and the reason I say that is because, like, length is very obvious, but I want it to be this long because
May I
it's
grab
so
one?
interesting to me, and I think this is a long time coming, and we've been kind of fucking the fans a little bit recently in terms of, like, the audio video issues we had this past month are fucked up. We've only had one episode in 3 weeks and then another one in 2 weeks. It's like, not
Well,
very
you know
good.
what? You've come a long way because the last episode I saw of you guys, it was like someone doing sign language and a guy with an Etch-a-Sketch. And they're shaking it, fucking drawing pictures and shit. So you've come a long way.
Yeah,
and you're doing really well.
Good
Yeah,
point, good
I gotta
point.
be honest with you. Thank you for watching us through our Jurassic period.
Yeah, right.
come a long
Actually,
way.
it was the Triassic, and
Jesus. Seriously though, have you ever actually watched this show?
This show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched. Well, I had to watch the Evan October.
Had to.
episode,
Had to.
And
Band-
I watched
band etiquette.
I watched Dan Garrison do his episode too. It just popped up on a
Just to
news
make
feed,
sure
so I
he was
watched it.
accurate in all the things he was saying. He was like,
Not
basically, I am Real McKenzies. Everyone knows it.
I'm Danny Bull McKenzie.
Yeah, Dan McKenzie. What's
It was
up,
pretty.
bro?
He was good. He was
I'm
good.
like, oh,
Everyone was good.
That's a very interesting position you're taking, Mr. Daniel.
Dan Garrison is wonderful, by the way.
Oh, he's a fucking beauty.
Yeah.
We love that guy.
They're recording a record right now tonight.
Nice.
Actually, right now at Greenhouse, right?
Yeah.
With our homeboys, actually, I'm pretty sure. Can I ask you something? Can I ask
No.
your opinion?
Yes.
What's up? What are you doing?
Can I grab
Oh,
one
you want a drink? Oh,
One.
of that you personally brought? No problem. Can I ask you a question on a recent reunion?
Thank you.
That happened in the city.
Reunion?
I think you would. I think you'd have interest in.
What reunion?
You've obviously heard that Daggermouth has
yeah, totally,
reunited.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts or feelings on Daggermouth that you could pass along?
I can't wait for Daggermouth and the McKenzies to do a show together.
Really?
Because I love that band. They're fucking awesome.
I've been thinking about it for a while. We've had Kenny Lush on the show before, and
Kenny's great.
I know Stu
Dana's
just-
awesome.
Seems
just
very
the
fun.
scene. Yeah,
Seems
like
a very fun show.
I know a lot of the guys. Just,
I would love
just threw
to.
it,
I would love to do a tour with Dagamouth. I would love to. I would love to do something where we could hang out. I love those guys. It's such a great band.
They're about to go do Japan or something.
I know they're in Japan right now. Yeah, I'm keeping track on them. I saw Ken the other night. He works the door at the rickshaw.
Which is, I love that he's still. And it's like, I'm like, by the way, you're Kenny Lush, by the way. Like you know, I just love that he does it. Like, it's so fucking good.
Well, I went to see Vicious Cycles and Territories at SBC the other night.
Territories. That's a great band name, by the way.
Territories are great. It's the old Knucklehead Boys.
Nice. I don't know that.
It's the old Knucklehead band.
It's a great fucking group, man.
The Territories were playing there, and Vicious Cycles were doing their 10-year anniversary recently. And Rob, the bassist from Vicious Cycles, is the Real McKenzies agent in in Canada.
Shit. So okay.
He's like, I'm going out to support him and hang out and see the Territories, who used to be Knucklehead. So there's guys so it was a really kind of a special event with not just 10-year anniversary, friends, blah blah. There was tons of people at SBC. It was so fun. And I was floor-licking pissed running down Hastings Street. And there's,
allegedly.
And there's Kenny. He's doing door at the rickshaw, and I'm just like, "Hey, Kenny, when are we gonna go to the gym together, man?" And it was like, because he's a wrestler, right? Everyone knows Kenny Lush.
Can we just rewind that real quick? Floor-licking pissed.
FLP.
Yeah,
you're like, yo, Kenny Lush, when are we gonna train together?
Dude, that was FLP, man.
Floor licking pliz. See, I can't even say it, man.
It's not worth saying.
So the other one is slut fucking drunk. You can be one of the two. You can be floor licking pissed. The next verse is slut fucking drunk.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know how to associate your life with everything.
I hope I'm not like frowned upon for saying.
No, that's the most offensive thing.
Can I be honest? This show is pretty fucking liberal-minded, but it's also very open-minded. It's not just like.
Oh, I was kidding. I don't really care if people judge me for that.
Yeah,
but I was saying that.
It's like wait a minute.
I said slut.
Troy, did you just slut shame a person who wants to have fun at your show?
I did.
How dare you? We should boycott every Real McKenzie show ever.
You should. It would probably do us better. Less people. That means there'd be more room to breathe. I could get to the green room easier. I could get to the fucking merch table so I could get some fucking money so I could buy some Coke.
This is how you handle it. I'm like, this is how.
How can I get to the merch table to talk to my TM to buy a blow if there's this many people in the venue?
This is how you handle it. This is how you handle it. Everyone that tries to fucking make it a big thing, like where they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant to offend anyone." Dude, you're just empowering the cunts out there. Everyone, what you should do is exactly what Troy just did, even jokingly, where you're just like, actually, I don't give a fuck. It gives me way more room to operate, and there's way better people.
As long as we get the same guarantees,
yeah,
and the same sponsorship. As long as I get my Vans, my Converse,
just burn the city,
my Budweiser, my Labatt's, my Molson Canadian.
How many beers do you get in your rider?
I don't know. How many beers?
Sounded like you just had.
So,
about
quick
3
question
or 4.
though. So, do you like?
We don't get a lot of sponsors. We don't get a lot of. We're not sponsored by anyone. I was totally making a joke when I said.
Yeah, I understand that. But have you ever been sponsored in that way?
The McKenzies did a Kokanee commercial long before I was in the band.
Way back when? Back in the
90s.
90s, right?
94. So
you've never had like
actually
a
check this
shoe
out.
Deal.
Did you know that
we've had people give us stuff like
yeah.
But it was.
So what's the So
wait a minute.
To double down on that. What's the best thing you've ever had in response to like a deal where you're like, okay, that's sweet, and you just get a thing that you didn't have before?
Syphilis.
Without a doubt. It ruins your mind and kills you. Did you know that actually...
It wasn't neurosyphilis. I nipped it in the butt before it became neurosyphilis.
No. It's not neuros. Let's get serious.
It was just a drip.
Just a drip.
It could have been chlamydia.
Hold on. Back up. Was it a bad question, or you just don't have an answer?
That's a bad question.
Oh no,
it's a bad
it was
question.
it was a great question. I just came up with a better answer.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Okay, I got one. It's not even really a question, but it's more of a destroying a C-Mart. Chris Martin. I can't believe you asked that question. That's all.
From the Coldplay?
What are you talking about?
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Wait, did you not know that C-Mart stands for Chris Martin?
What?
Chris Martin.
No.
Right here. Chris Martin over here.
Is that your name, Chris Martin?
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
Oh well.
What do you mean? Unfortunately, that's a badass.
No, it's
name.
cool because now I hold high regard for that name again.
Yeah. Well, TBD.
Hear that? You just redeemed. You redeemed that name, bro.
I don't know if that's true, but fair enough.
I was gonna say, did you know that the Real McKenzies Auld Lang Syne version is used as Kevin Smith's?
Yeah.
Every year, every fucking year.
That.
So check this out. The reality, like if you look at the behind the scenes on this
Real McKenzies.
The reality story on that is this: one of the longest running podcasts ever in Kevin Smith. Like Kevin Smith was doing it like in 2007, like 10 years ago, before iTunes even had a fucking grasp on the market or anything. So you have a guy who's been doing the podcast forever. Every time they do their New Year's wrap-up show, they use the Real McKenzies Auld Lang Syne version. Isn't that fucking crazy? That's a long running tradition, man.
And my friend Josh in Los Angeles, who lives in Hollywood, last year sent me a message and he was like, "Hey, it's Josh, and I'm a producer for Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
and I'm in the film industry, and I'm a producer. I work at the Comedy Store. I work at these yucks or whatever." He
just
was like,
the Comedy Store, not a big.
He was telling, might not have been the Comedy Store. I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
He was working on Hollywood Strip at all these places.
I'm being facetious, obviously. It's a fucking Comedy Store. Jesus Christ.
And so he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm a fan of the McKenzies. I just wanted to drop you a line and let you know that we still use your song at New Year's, and we just wanted to let you know we're wishing the Real McKenzies a Happy New Year." And so I just sent him a message back because I handle all the Facebook garbage, all that social media shit the best that I can. And I was like, "Yeah, that's really cool. We're gonna be out there for punk rock bowling."
Which is actually,
I love this.
See where you laugh, but like punk rock bowling is one of the biggest fucking events you can do. There's only like the Vegas one.
Saying, like,
we're gonna be out in Vegas for punk rock
Vegas
bowling.
is like
wonderful.
I think Vegas is the biggest one, right?
I didn't mean that in a
there's
facetious way.
I guess
pretty
there's
sure you
Vegas.
meant that.
There's the East Coast one too, which is relatively new, but I don't know. I can't speak for it.
But
I've never
Vegas
been there
is the first one I ever heard about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was telling Josh, we're gonna book a small California tour. That's the plan. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna head out to Nevada, and we're gonna do this thing. We typically play the Viper Room when we're in Hollywood. If you're close, why don't you come out and hang out with us? And he said, "Yeah, absolutely. I would love to come out and see you guys." And I was like, "Cool. Bring everyone. Bring Kevin. Bring whoever you want. Just come out and hang out. Thank you for playing our music. We'd like to see you." And so
Scott Moser just fucking hanging out, obviously.
Yeah, so Josh sent me a message back a little while later saying, Kevin probably can't make it. And I said, "I understand. That's totally cool." But he said, I would still like to come, and I would like to bring out a film crew and some audio.
Okay.
So, Josh and I developed
a thing of it.
Yeah, Josh and I developed this relationship, and he came out to the show, and he brought a crew of professional people with him, like people who aren't just these aren't hobbyists. These are people,
fly by night.
At this point in time, they don't need to come and hang out at the Viper Room and film the Real McKenzies for nothing, for fucking points on their resume.
They're working.
This means nothing. So they were really just doing a favor for Josh. He was calling in a couple of favors, and he shot some video and he did some audio, and it turned out really well. And that was all a result of him. To go back to what you were saying, is that Kevin Smith does play. They do that on their podcast.
Like that is significant. Like if you ever think about and
it's cool too.
We were talking about curating lists.
You know what the other thing was too, is because just prior to me talking to Josh, I went to go see Dolly Parton with my good friend Mama T, and we went to go see Dolly Parton, and I got us 7th row center seats. And I was looking off the stage left, and I saw this fucking dude in a fucking Canucks jersey.
By the way,
and it was Kevin Smith, and I was like, dude, he was at the fucking show, and I was like, I'm about to steal your producer. He's gonna do this stuff. And I was like, I wish I could talk to you right now.
Not to mention, if it's the same tour you're talking about, I actually heard Kevin Smith on Joe Rogan Experience talking to Rogan about how incredible Dolly Parton's show was and like how fucking epic it was. It actually made me want to go fucking watch it. And you're there at that tour meta version where you're like, I'm actually there to fucking be a part of something he's already doing.
And
with
Dolly
the
Parton was a 4-piece that night. A 4-piece in an arena, and she nailed it. It was pretty crazy.
I mean,
I'm sure
I heard her
playing some
banter.
tapes,
I heard her banter is fucking unbelievable.
She doesn't shut up.
Yeah, I heard she's like, so like it's not just like how y'all doing. It's like very entertaining.
No, every song has a story, and I think that was part of the purpose behind that tour. But she was talking about her career, so she was telling a story about every song.
How old is she right now?
Dolly Parton's got to be. She's got to be as old as my dad, like 75. She's got to be 71, at least as old as my mom.
You think she's in her 70s?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you smash?
What?
Would you smash that?
That's sort of. You know what? I'm not going to talk about Dolly Parton like that, but yeah, I would probably make out with her.
Oh, suddenly the line is drawn.
We're talking about Dolly Parton here, man.
71. 71 is
she's 71. She's the same age as my mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
Dolly Parton's still a babe. Let's put it that way.
Okay, she's still very attractive. You don't have to say you're gonna smash it because that sounds.
No, that was you said.
You said.
I would never. I would never have said that phrase, sir.
But you just did earlier, though. You just did say that.
Sir, how dare you suggest that?
If Dolly Parton wanted to fool around with me, I would probably say
maybe.
TBD.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
But she would never want to, man. She's got a husband.
No, she would never.
Listen, I'm an engaged guy. You're a married fella.
Well, married dude. I would never fool around with Dolly Parton.
I would never cheat, but I was just saying, like, outside of this realm. Dolly Parton says, "Do you listen? I got a pardon for you. It's pardon." She said,
Dolly Parton says, "I have a pardon for you." I got, dude.
Never listen to MD. The guy is a fucking menace. For fuck's sake.
I'm just saying, look. I know you're a respectful guy, and you never do anything disrespectful.
Okay, so can I say
her initials are DP?
The end of the show. That's the end of the show right there. I'm just like her initials are DP. Clearly, I know what's up. What's up,
I love Dolly Parton, and yeah, I would
totally
make it.
Can you throw this?
No, so I gotta say,
what is this?
This is gonna just be a callback.
Can the fans see this?
Only not yet, but
throw it on right now.
The thing that bugs me.
How would you throw this on? Not for the fans on this.
Well, because hold on.
Jesus, sideways, Christ. C-Mart. First, you end the show without anyone asking.
We got 10 beer left. We're not ending it anymore.
Second.
Okay, so
doing some live reaction.
This
you do this,
particular scene.
Here we go.
Is
what is this?
Troublesome.
Full screen this.
Yeah. So.
What are we looking at?
I'm just saying we were talking before about like getting shit like it's uncomfortable, and this is the most uncomfortable thing I can think of, which is that this thing just chews through everything.
So this machine you're describing right now, it's basically two turbines that just seems to destroy everything. They're putting wood in it. They put tampons.
Yeah, whatever. Pick a thing.
Why is that significant? Why do
First
they put tampons?
Even this. Yeah. No.
I went shopping for a wife today.
Shopping for a wife.
Even this guy's
tennis balls just went.
Even this guy's hands makes me uncomfortable because it's so. Like imagine.
Just let it rock.
Imagine your hand gets caught in there and it's gone. It's gone. It just destroys your whole fucking.
So you think this guy should wear gloves?
I feel like no one should ever interact with this, and we should eliminate.
Well, what's that vampire movie that's like 28 Days of Darkness or something?
But like, look at
where they're up north. One of the vampires gets caught in one of those.
That's true. Yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah.
It is 30 Days of Darkness.
30 Days of Darkness. How dare you try to cut 2 days of darkness off that were already.
What I'm saying is that I
was thinking of 28 days later.
So 28 days later of darkness is what I was trying to say.
Okay, hold on. Look at that though. Look at this. Look how much damage.
Okay, so for our audio listeners, basically they just put cans in there and they just
they just put soft. Like it just gets absorbed into danger and death.
What's this got to do with anything, man?
Yeah, you just.
What I'm saying is that. When my hands are interacting with things, I think about like what they would do. They would just be crushed instantly and destroyed.
How did this podcast become about you, man?
Troy,
I'm just saying I get nervous. I get nervous. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying I get nervous.
The keyboard is not a turbine. You're gonna be okay.
You're right. Fair enough.
Check it out. This is a guest that gets it. This is a guest that called out my fucking.
He threw fucking celery in there.
I threw a family heart-wrenching lose a finger story in there, and Troy was still like, "Man, this is the worst story ever." He just like blew it out of the water. He's like, "Why did we spend so much time talking about your brother?"
I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying I get nervous.
Chris Martin, I want you to know right now, before we go any farther. you're a great guy. You've been doing this show for a long time, but that is a shoe being eaten by this fucking machine.
Okay, we gotta stop that.
All right, you're fucking funny fella. What was the other thing we were gonna look up? You had another thing. You had something else. Right?
No, keep going.
Tell you what. Troy.
What?
Here's a shitty fucking stock. You want a stock question?
Yeah,
Because I've been giving you some weird questions, so I'll give you a stock.
Really. You're pretty tame.
Favorite color? What's up, bro? You think I've just been pretty tame? Because I've been trying to be very respectful.
Yeah, go ahead.
People that don't understand, like, you know what's really funny?
Who cares, man? Just let it fly.
Honestly, when I started doing shows, like 4 years ago or something like that, when I started doing podcasts, the first thing I realized was like, I was like, oh, maintaining the actual dynamic of the conversation and the actual relationship with the person versus how dare you versus just asking the worst like things all the time straight in a row. People don't understand. It's like I can't just start off with just like, hey, what's going on? This is Troy of the Real McKenzies and Brew 36 and the Isotopes. And when was the last time you had sex?
July 24th.
July 24th. Everyone's like, wow, that's not sex.
Is that with a woman?
Wow. Oh,
wait.
Wow. Exactly.
Or with a pillow?
Exactly. So when you're young,
I fucked my alarm clock.
When you're young, though, like you listen to this and you think like, this guy's not asking the shit I would ask, and it's just like, all right, go ahead, try to fucking sort this out in a human fashion that makes sense. And when you hear people have good interviews or good conversations, in this case, I think about the fact that like a lot of it comes down to just like how those two people interact. Like we're just gonna talk about what the fuck we know. We talk about the road and we talk about shit like we know. It's like.
If it's engaging and fun, it's good.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it's gotta be funny.
It's gotta be fucking entertaining, and it's gotta last long enough. Like, particularly this episode. Like, this is not like a standard fucking length episode.
Well, we haven't had a fart joke yet.
Now, once you want to do one?
Good point.
Do you want to do one right now?
I can't.
You want to try?
I will let you know when I have to.
I mean, it doesn't have to be real.
Okay. We're talking about an actual joke,
like,
not a fart.
By the way, we're in an enclosed space. If you don't, want to disrespect the rest of us, that's fine.
No, I totally will disrespect you. That's cool.
What do you do on tours when that happens?
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about tours is that
tight quarters, right?
Yeah, you get to know people really well, like much better than you want to know them. Much better than most people know their friends. You think you have a friend, you think you know them, but when you have to live with them, you live with them for months and months on end. Not only knowing what the inside of them smells like, or the noises they make when they eat.
That's
very. It's just like you get to know things that are really personal, but you can't judge or be annoyed with someone based on that. Given the situation you're in,
we talked about this.
Try to accept it, and that can be the hardest thing.
That is weird.
The minute it's a problem, it's your problem.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting in the van and I'm like, I can hear you chew, I can hear you blink. You know what I mean?
Dude,
it's just.
I'd be like, you're being very hard on me right now.
Okay, quick question though. Counterpoint.
All right. Here we
when does it matter to you? When does it become too much?
When they fuck up the show. Anyone fucks up the show, then it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's where you're like, you know what? Honestly,
everything else
cool.
is human. Everything else is human.
Okay.
But you fuck up the show, then it's a problem.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, everyone has their own idiosyncrasies.
No, that's totally reasonable.
And everything's acceptable. You just don't fucking bat an eye. You accept it. You realize you're living in the same quarters. But you're a
consummate professional.
Yeah, you're living in the same space.
Yep.
And you're giving someone some room.
Also, just like
so how do you approach that then?
A step back, though, I would say from all of this is that like the genre specifically that the Real McKenzies and these other bands are operating in is a punk genre, which people are already expecting like a certain degree
of fidelity.
A fuck upness where everyone's like, oh, everyone's crazy, right? So the idea that like the professionals operating in that space need to operate extra professionally in order to counteract that, because like same things with rappers.
Part of our job is drinking and partying.
Exactly.
Part of our job is having fun and projecting that. So we do that.
Right. Part of that is like the business drink of it, right? Like you got to be business drunk essentially, and that I recognize because within production, and especially with rap, it's like Dude, sometimes I go from meeting to meeting in a day, and I'm just like, by the end of the day, I'm like, dude, I've been drunk and sober twice today. Like drunk, sober, sober. And you come back home and you're like, what the fuck happened? Oh, I'm just like naturally operating in the realm of what the fuck is being presented to me. When you're on the road, it's like you're exactly what you're talking about. It's a get up band. It's a go out show. It's a absolutely have a good time show. There's no room for, having a let's sit down and enjoy the Real McKenzies. Who does that? That's not a show at all. Like that's not the one that you guys cater to, at least, right? No, that's what I'm trying to say. I guess originally
it took you a long time to say that, man.
Yeah, how fucking dare you? I've been trying my best.
I was like, I nodded off.
Yeah, you did.
I just got back.
I saw you stifle a yawn.
Woo! I stifled a yawn.
How dare you fucking come
yawn
at
stifle?
Me? How dare you come at me with
I think that's a pretty sweet name.
How dare you?
If I could be like a superhero, my name would be Yawn Stifle.
Yawn Stifler?
Hey, my name is Yawn Stifle. I think that's a good name. I think that's a really powerful name.
Can you put the camera on yourself when you do that? I want to show you a gif of you trying to be cool doing that. Go ahead. Do it.
I like the name Yawn. Yawn Stifle.
What a shitty demo reel this is. This is the worst demo reel.
Wow.
Can I say something or two?
There's a lot of work, first of all. Yeah. There's a lot of bullshit you're not seeing right now. Yeah. Also, Yawn Stifle.
I just want to say this. All jokes aside, I think that you're one of our favorite guests we've ever had here, and I think
you're totally just saying
I'm good.
Yeah, just saying that.
Do you want? Should I just big myself up? Then?
It's because I bought 12 beer.
All right, no, 24 now. We're gonna serve.
I have to pay you back for that.
Yeah, we're gonna serve you that bill, bro.
No. Motherfucker.
That's the I way. We just
want you to do anything.
By the way, Carrie, I'm not gonna make my appointment at the gym tomorrow.
No, I thought specifically you were making an appointment.
You said specifically earlier. You're like, I'm gonna go because I want to make sure it hurts or something like that.
Yeah, I make sure I hate it.
Yeah.
God damn it. So I might fucking play hard at night, but I work hard in the morning. So I will get up and go to the gym.
I have a theory.
I'm fat. I'm in my 40s. I gotta do it. You can't be.
Do you feel like that?
You can't be in your 40s and not work out. You haven't seen me naked yet, man.
Let's go. Come on. What are you waiting for?
How do I do this camera thing?
Okay, you're on cam. Here we go. C-Mart doesn't even know how to switch to fast.
No, it's fine. I just didn't anticipate.
I'll tell you what though. I have a theory on this. Okay. I've existed in this theory for a long time. My father was an alcoholic growing up. He's no longer.
Say this alcoholic one more time. You almost had it.
He's a good man. He's a drinker.
He's a drink.
Okay, go back to your dad.
You're like, sorry, you also might be an alcoholic. Just saying.
I'm definitely not.
If it's a good time for a drink this many times a day, you're a problem drinker, not a social drinker.
My father was an alcoholic, serious, and now he's been cold turkey for about 15 years. He's been very fucking good at his job. But I will say this. There is a significant level that comes with that makes me think about like, hey, everyone has their fucking chance. Everyone can. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I lost it.
This is gonna be an edit.
It's all good. No, I get it.
This is a hard edit.
No, I don't know.
Hard edit.
Wait a minute. I had something for you so good that would fucking roast.
Doesn't matter.
You're gonna roast me? Go for it.
No, I would never roast you.
It's not roasting.
You can't. I'm unroastable because I don't care enough.
Try it. I never roast you, but at the same time.
Don't try it. It's not an action. It's not a request.
Like this. Wait, Troy, I would never roast you, but I would totally roast you.
Of course you would.
If I Russian Tim on in 1 second, I'm like, and what about Troy Zach? And everyone's like, oh shit. We just had a fucking 10.
First of all, that's a good example, actually. Russian Tim deserves some shit. Not for anything he's done.
How so?
But Russian Tim deserves a good roasting because he is a stand-up person I know.
How dare you talk about the great success of Russian Tim?
No, what I'm saying is that he deserves it solely so that you can watch him take it and be like, what? Who thought this thing?
Well, he should be here for this.
Yes.
Honestly, Tim.
I love Russian Tim.
We love Russian Tim.
And I would just love to talk shit about him.
In front of him?
Not in front, not exact, maybe in front of him, but what I'm saying is that, like, it'd be fun to fuck with him a bit.
Tim is...
Because he is so nice.
Let's put him on voice.
Sure, you want to call him?
He's the best. Like, Russian Tim was one of the best dudes ever.
I've known Tim
but that means I want to talk
12 years now.
Nice.
And I love this guy. He's such a good guy.
And
we've sponsored his last like 4 events.
I would, if someone said, "Hey, could you sponsor everything?" I'd be like, I would be interested in sponsoring everything you ever do, Russian Tim. Like,
I gotta say,
he's so good.
I wish I would have fucking remembered what the fuck I was gonna say just now, because honestly, I had it all lined up. It was like perfect in my head. I was like, this is a torpedo for Troy's mind, and he would never see it coming. Yeah, like I was like, he would never see it coming.
To be honest, like I said, I just like talking shit about Russian Tim because it's fun.
I'll call him too.
So I can phone him.
I can't wait to edit this episode.
But I'm phoning him right now.
Mega edits.
Putting him on.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Sounds very European dial.
It is very European dial.
Yo.
Hey Tim.
Russian Tim.
Hey Tim, it's Troy from the Real McKenzies.
Hey Troy from Real McKenzies. This is Russian Tim.
I'm doing a podcast right now. We're just cold calling you.
Oh, good. Which podcast? What?
It doesn't matter what podcast. You know, I think. What are you doing right now at this moment?
At this moment, I am getting ready for the radio show Rocket from Russia, which I will be doing on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning.
How dare you fucking plug your own show on my show, you fucking fuck. You absolutely know what goddamn podcast this is. Fuck you forever.
Yeah, okay, cool, good. This is the podcast which I went to 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah, this is conflicting podcasts right here. You're setting up and we're performing.
Yeah, see, self-promotion is great.
Yeah.
So I'm very good at it.
You seem like you are.
So what should I do? That's good quality?
Well, we were just going to ask you if you were just what you were wearing first, because before we start talking, we need to know how much skin there is.
Always.
Oh, good thing I didn't answer with the video call, huh?
Yeah.
Can you qualify that as an answer to your question?
It's a partial answer because we're still looking for another question.
Yo, Russian Tim, talk about fucking December's show with the Pavel Bures.
Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be super fantastic. So mainly because there will be 5 great bands performing their best super hits in terms of playing talented their musical abilities. December 15th at the Cobalt, there's 5 bands, Russian Tim and Pavel Bures. This is my band. Then also band The Core, Greatest Sons, who else? Anthems and Contra Code. I think this is the lineup.
Who's your favorite band out of all of them? Make an enemy. Go ahead.
Russian Tim and Pavel Bures.
Okay.
Too easy. Not a good answer. Pick a better one.
Dude, he answered so quick. I knew he thought about it before. So that's good. Russian Tim, you know who the fuck this is. I can't wait to have you on the show in a couple weeks. It's going to be great.
December 4th, or what did we say? Something like that.
I'll send you a goddamn text. I don't care about that.
Good. Yeah, good thing you qualify for the text message.
All right.
All right. Okay. It was lovely talking to you, Russian Tim. But this show's about me, so talk to you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Tell us your favorite color, Troy. We want to know all about you, bro.
I'm beyond color, man.
Oh, true point.
Oh shit.
True point.
What a progressive woke ally comment you just had. I'm beyond color.
I'm beyond color.
Yeah. What a woke AF comment. Appreciate that big time. The Russian Tim Collins segment might be the fucking best moment.
It was funny.
I feel like we should call Russian Tim
every episode.
Like
I love
the time.
We can call October too.
Can I just say my favorite part about that, because we all know he's such a professional. My favorite part of that is that
his accent changed halfway through the conversation.
Halfway through, and not only that, but as soon as you identified yourself as Troy of the Real McKenzies, he was like, "Oh, hello. I'm just hanging out, preparing for my show." And it's like, I fucking bet. By the way, you're not watching Netflix or some shit.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, fuck."
Hey, wait, you guys talk shit about me. I'm gonna go take a leak.
Oh, here we go. Shit. By the way, C-Mart, this is not evidence to just shut the fucking show off for some reason.
Okay,
Idiot.
can you just
what a dumb fucking move.
Can you just settle the fuck down for 5 seconds?
Can I just throw this out there right now? There's going to be a major edit that you guys won't see, but Seymour decided that when I left the room, that's the end of the show. Guess what? It's not like a dream. It's not like when I leave, suddenly the fucking dream stops going. No. It needs to be me specifically doing an ending sequence, which is going to come up very shortly.
You know what's a good idea?
Oh,
maybe I should never show up
Here
again.
we go.
Maybe
okay.
I should never be around ever
All right,
again.
Go put the camera on you for a sec. Go ahead. Good. All right. So this is you. This is you making. No. Let me set it up. Put your face as close to the camera as possible.
I will not do that.
No, I look at your face. I take a look. So, in your opinion, this is your last show ever. This is.
Good.
Good. I don't believe anything you say.
I can't wait to have my last show ever.
Is it now?
Ideally.
Well, I gotta get Wolf in here to fucking run the boards.
Everything's way easier if it is my last.
Would you suggest to me, and this is a major hypothetical, but would you suggest to me that there are better people than you out there?
Oh, there are definitely better people than me out there.
Really?
All the time.
Really?
I think that's something I've been reading about recently is the imposter syndrome in general.
Imposter syndrome is something I suffer from legit.
Yeah, I think it's completely reasonable.
I actually have talked about this recently with someone.
Cut away.
That's good. Probably go back to me for a second. Let's get off your mug. Here's a fact. I actually suffer from what is called imposter syndrome because I can't tell you how many fucking contracts I've had where someone's like, exactly. Someone's like, "Oh, you have to do this." And then I go, "I don't know if I could do this." And I'm like, they must have the wrong person. It must be Jimmy McDougal, not Jayme McDonald.
That's your own thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it turns out I'm okay. Turns out
I don't know about that, but yeah.
No.
What's up, McDougs?
We were talking about
Make it dick.
We were talking about imposter syndrome. Have you ever experienced this?
Oh yeah, totally.
Really?
No.
Okay. You just hurt my feelings deeply, but that's fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Have you ever heard of that before?
No. What did you say?
So basically, it's called imposter syndrome. So basically, it's like being assigned a job or a performance or a role or something like that, and you personally think you can't do it, but yet it's your responsibility to do it. So, for instance, like I can't tell you how many times I've landed a production contract and I expect someone to like knock on the door and say like, "Oh, we've made a terrible mistake. It wasn't supposed to be you this last month. It was supposed to be this guy, Jimmy McDougal. I'm terribly sorry. Someone's supposed to come in and do it." That out of place feeling, but it's like actually what you're supposed to be doing. It's your actual expertise, but like it's almost like I don't want to explain this, but it's almost like a validation level that doesn't exist anywhere in the industry.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's an inferiority complex.
Certainly.
Yes, it definitely is.
Certainly. Yeah, and it
but it's
very
an
weirdly
acknowledgement of one's own inferiority.
Well, it's stress. It's common stress.
Yeah.
It's really common
For
stress.
sure.
And because when you work in radio, you get dreams, and they're radio dreams. And the dreams is that
dead air.
Yeah.
Dead air, and you're like, "Fuck this," and you're like,
dead air dreams.
Yeah. And in your heart, you're like, "I would never let this happen." But then, like,
when you wake up and it's like,
yeah.
and you're sweating, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm at home in my bed. I'm not at the radio station. There is no dead air.
No,
I'm not off the air.
I'm not even on the clock." Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's no problem.
Yeah.
You know.
But that imposter syndrome of like someone who was me accidentally fucked up and did it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Same thing. I have the band dreams too. Like I'm
Do you? That's what I'm talking about.
I had a dream that I was playing. The Police were playing a gig.
Sorry,
and
like
it was like Sting
and the
It
Police.
was the Police. It was like
All right.
1980.
Some of
Okay.
those insane
Or
bands
1978,
ever.
and the Police were playing this giant fucking gig when.
I'll be Troy and you.
They called me up to play bass, and I walked up to play Roxanne, and I didn't know a fucking lick. Yeah, I have playing.
Do you know how to play that?
I guarantee you know how to play that.
It's sorry.
Boom, boom.
Sorry.
You know how to play that.
Your response is to sound it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could play it.
How dare he's like, I'm a world class professional. How fucking dare you?
If I can hear it, I can play it, dude.
Okay. I know all chord progressions. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to break your balls a bit, but
I never have, but I'm pretty sure I could. I don't know.
by the way, don't be surprised if you get heckled hard at your next show and everyone's like, Roxanne.
You have that many listeners
No.
that you're gonna catch all 6 chicks who are at
all
our next show.
all 6 German chicks. Yo, I'm Helga. I'm Helga 1. I'm Helga 2.
and I'm fucking Ingva
Svetlana.
and Olga.
Inga. Yeah. No, they all have like fucking rather real like regular proper Christian English
Yeah,
names.
every chick in Germany is called Kim
Kim.
or Alice.
Alice.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I've met a few ladies.
Moving along.
All right. Oh, next. No, next. I'm like, okay, Jesus, didn't get a next all fucking episode. When we started this episode, he's like, if I say next, that's the end of the question. I'm like, all right, fucking. I respect that. You're a fairly nice guy. All right. I'll tell you what though, we have been chatting a little bit. This is like about a double episode.
You just tried to hold back a burp. It was so funny.
I'm gonna consider it as one episode.
You're so drunk right now.
I'm medium.
If you do the start of this episode to the finish,
Yeah.
you're gonna go from actually saying words to kind of like doing what you're doing now.
Everyone's like, it's a pretty good episode, but it kind of loses its juice around the 17th hour.
Now that people are just watching for sheer entertainment.
Can I ask you a question? This is
No.
legit. This is a legit.
Okay.
All right. If people are so interested in following you offline, how can they do so? Anyone?
The Real McKenzies?
Yeah.
Fucking Google it, dick.
Okay. That's it. That's the greatest fan engagement we've ever had on the show.
It's the Real McKenzies.
I asked how to follow him, C-Mart, and Troy said, Google it, dick. Google it. So there you go. If people are so inclined to follow the Real McKenzies, I would recommend just Googling Real McKenzies.
Just Google it, you dicks.
Their latest album, Two Devils Will Talk, is available on Fat Records, available everywhere right now. If you buy the vinyl, you get a free digital copy. What?
Almost free digital copy.
What does that mean?
Well, if it doesn't say digital download on the album, that means you got a colored vinyl. So right now, the ones that I brought into the studio today, you get a digital download. But
Sweet. I got this fucking copy. I don't give a shit.
you got 35-gram vinyl.
Gangster.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. That sounds like very
Very
heavy.
thin. It's paper thin.
Yeah.
It's not like 180 gram. It's like 30. Like, basically, you
Sorry,
have.
is that translucent
we have
fucking vinyl?
we have flexi discs. No.
When you handed me the coasters, by the way, I should point these out real quick on the camera here. Troy walked in with these fucking Brew 36 coasters, which are badass.
These are very nice,
These are really nice, and
Yeah.
they
I
actually
have one over here.
advertised the album that just came out in 2016, end of the year there. So it's almost been a year since this album came out, the debut album. But I will say this. I jokingly was like, when you showed up, because C-Mart wasn't at the table yet when we were drinking before this, and I was like,
was like, yeah, imagine the single was on here. We just play this, pop this, and whatever. I was like, or use it as a coaster. Dude, C-Mart immediately is like, oh, cool, coaster. Let me put this right to use. Like, I was like, dude, I fucking felt disrespectful right away. I was like, I don't think
it's a coaster, dude. You're supposed to put drinks on it.
I just felt weird right away.
Just wait, hang on a second. Dude, did you just put a drink on the coaster I gave you?
Sorry, did you put a drink on the album?
Fucking nerve, man.
Exactly.
The nerve of this guy. It's like, did you just listen to that record I gave you?
Yeah. Do you like listening to sound?
Sorry, with your own ears?
Your ass. You're jerk.
You jerk.
Sorry, but there's this big screen behind you with
This
a
whole
turtle.
fucking time.
This turtle. I'm like,
it's like Finding Nemo behind me the whole time.
for sure.
Usually it's like Disney films or something.
This is good though.
It's not bad. It's usually polar bears eating seals or something like that.
Yeah.
Chris Martin. If people are so inclined
Coldplay,
about
so
how
good.
to follow you, that's right. How can they follow you?
I just honestly wouldn't at all ever even enter into that notion.
Never follow you. Okay, moving on. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're so inclined, we appreciate you guys watching the show. Thank you very much to our guest tonight. Troy, you're fucking fantastic. Thanks for doing more time than we've ever done historically on the show.
Really?
Ever. That's a
Is that because we had beer here?
It's a part of it.
Is it because we're hanging out drinking?
It's not.
Can I be honest with you? Most of it comes from, I think you're a good guy. I think you have a good fucking soul.
All right, let's lie to ourselves.
All right. Do you want to just straight up lie?
Good move. I like lying. I like being lied to.
I was like, all right, we did it mostly because I'm handsome as fuck.
We did this podcast because we're hammered.
We did a good time. I enjoy it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're so inclined, we really appreciate it if you leave us a review. We're available on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and SoundCloud and 100,000 other illegal Russian sites. And maybe very soon in the future, maybe Spotify. Maybe.
Whatever. Who knows?
That would change everything. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate you guys watching.
FYI, nothing would change.
Nothing change. Still the terrible content you expect. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you guys so much. Make sure you go out and check out the Real McKenzies, Two Devils.
True devils will trock.
True devils will truck. Ladies and gentlemen, as it's known amongst circles. Ladies and gentlemen, please check it out. We love you guys all so much. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for sticking in.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, bro.